Oh boy. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? Coming through the right mic. Hell yeah. Oh, give me a second. I need to go get ladies' toy. Oh. 10 people. What the fuck? Oh, fuck. Oh. God damn it. Okay. Sorry. I just remembered I totally borked something for this week. Content-wise. It's fine. Hello. Ooh, hello. Put that right here so I do not forget it. EP, I had a rough night. Yeah, so if y'all didn't see my tweet, I had a fucking night. I had to take a friend to the emergency room, and we were there because American healthcare is awesome. We were there for 3 hours before we got any kind of service or support. So that's fun. That's been good for me. So we were there for 3 hours, got home, went to bed around 1, which means I did not get a whole lot of sleep. And thankfully, money-wise, all it's cost has been Ubers to grocery stores to get, gauze and stuff to help, and Ubers to the hospital. Y'all want to hear the most American fucking thing in the world? We took an Uber to the emergency room because I don't really want to talk about what happened, but it was an accident. She is doing okay. She really fucked up her hands on some anti-homeless architecture. Nightlight Plush Jesus, thank you for resubscribing. And it was fucking bleeding everywhere. I came home last night. I was cleaning out blood from the bathtub. I was cleaning out. This morning I had to clean off the front steps of my apartment building. Jenny Bean, an Uber is cheaper than an ambulance. Yeah, so we had the fire department and the EMTs come over because there was a lot of blood before I got it stopped. And the problem with me is that I do okay under pressure, but when it is time to escalate, I'm able to recognize, like, okay, this person is seriously injured, so, like, I want to at least make sure somebody gets here as soon as possible to tell me that it's going to be okay, because I'm aware that while I can dress a wound, I can treat a wound. I literally just brushed up on all of my medical shit before I left for LA. Like, I literally just went through and was like, I can do this, this, this stitch. Violent Christoph, it was 20 stitches. Yeah. 20 stitches across both hands. Because what happened is, so they got a hand caught on a fence, at the top of a fence, and then were hanging there like 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and then like I was unable to help them, so they ran the other hand on top of the fence and needed deeply so it wasn't all one wound is the thing, it was multiple wounds, and on both hands. And so her hands are all bandaged up. She's totally fine. They gave her painkillers, went and got her food and stuff today, because she's going to be staying with me for a minute, obviously. Planning to sue the city? No, because we were a place we technically shouldn't have been. It's fine. Like, it's not fine, but it's fine. It was very much a case of live and learn. Like, it was very much a case of, yeah, technically it's the city's fault, but it's not really anybody's fault. The thing is, so there's blood everywhere. Got it all cleaned up. She's doing good. Okay, no, here's the thing, is that I had the fire department, had the paramedics come over, and they dressed the wounds, looked at them really quick, because the thing for me is that I am not able to accurately tell how severe a wound is, especially when wounds are fresh and bleeding. A lot of it is very red blood, so it's really hard to tell how serious something is. And especially when it's everywhere, you can't really even tell, like, okay, the difference between, like, when everything is bloody, it's not like movies or games, right? When everything is bloody, the difference between, like, oh, that's literally just a scratch, or this could be a life-threatening cut, and you can't tell because you can't see how deep it goes. You can't see how much it's bleeding. It just all kind of blends together. So that became the thing of, like, called, waited, brought the medics and stuff back. And firefighters always do a great job. Always, no complaints about them. But then I just asked the EMT, because they were like, okay, do you want us to take you to the hospital? We will. Thankfully, I live very close to a hospital. Like, I live like a 20-minute walk from one. So, like, not that bad. And that's a 4-minute Uber. Not terrible at all. But the thing that was kind of funny is that we did, I did ask the paramedic, like, okay, like, straight up be real with me. Because this is the thing I do with, it doesn't matter really if it's a doctor, firefighter, paramedic. I don't really care to, like, shoot and I think they appreciate my candor. I hope they appreciate my candor, because it's just like, straight up, how much is it gonna, I'm not like, oh, do you think it's gonna be too expensive? I'll just be like, how much would it cost? Do you recommend, the paramedic, do you recommend that I go and get an Uber, or that I take a ambulance? And before the words were even out of my fucking mouth, they were like, take an Uber. The fucking paramedic was like, Uber. If you can help it, Uber. And I was like, going to an emergency room in an Uber is like, sorry, it doesn't get much more American than that. All right, I'll be right back. I need some nasal spray. So yeah, that has been my it's been my day, pretty much. Dr. Frosters, thank you for $5. If you could have one of your feature-length videos be shown in theaters, which one would it be and why? Probably the one I'm working on, which I can't talk about, and is still over a month out. It's over a month out. The next two big videos I'm doing right now, as far as investigative pieces, are over a month out. And yeah, it's so yeah, we stayed in the emergency room for 3 hours. It was a night of bizarre coincidences. Like, just the most, what, how did that happen? Cause, and also probably the most ratio of great night to bad night I've ever had, especially with this person, because we just get along so well. But I made a kick-ass dinner. I made bone-in pork chops it was a sweet chili marinade, spicy sweet chili marinade, and I had a 3-spice cheese grated over the top with Cajun sauteed squash, zucchini, and asparagus. And like we just had a great fucking night doing that until we didn't. And yeah, it was fucking good. I don't have like specific dishes that I cook the same way every time. I have things I can cook. Like I can do noodles, I can do pasta, I can do I usually do, if I'm making dinner for somebody, I usually do chops. So either pork chops, or I'll do, like, if they want a steak, I'll do some loin or something. And if I'm doing dinner, it's rarely an impromptu thing. I'll go out, have in mind what I want, or have in mind, start with the meat, because here's how you pair stuff, for those who don't know. You generally start with the meat, the flavor profile you want. So I will do a marinade for like a full day to make sure that it has time to seep into the meat. I usually poke holes in the meat so it gets kind of in there, and I find that works really well with pork chops, because pork chops tend to be juicier anyway, and cook all the way through, and you don't have to worry about salmonella, like, which I had too much chicken growing up as a kid. I think that was the real thing. So start with the meat, then you have the sides, and then we did a wine pairing, or I picked the wine pairing, and it was actually a really good Merlot Cab Sauv blend that was like local around here, and everything was just so good. I have this corn salsa that I like to use on meat as like a topper, because like just a little bit with a bite has little chilies and peppers in it. Yeah, it was really good, and she loved it and ate all of it. I mean, we ate all of it together, but yeah, it was a night, because then we went to the ER for several years. What seemed like several years. Bone-in skin on chicken thighs marinated in zesty Italian dressing for a day or 3. I usually combine stuff for marinades. And it'll be, because you need you kind of want something a little acidic. It depends on the meat you're using. But I actually tried something new this time. Half the marinade was pickle juice. There's like Rick's spicy deli pickles or whatever, and they're like, they have like a sweet tang. They're not spicy, they have like a sweet tang to them, but vinegar is usually a big part of marinade, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And it turned out really good. Turned out really good. Which shouldn't be too surprising because that's their pickles already made to go with meat and food. Slow-mo Panda, thank you for 8 months. I've had to call 911 about once every 2 to 3 months as I'm a terminal single millennial waiting for my third imminent heart failure. Never go in an ambulance, though they bill me if it's not actually heart failure. God, I am so sorry. God, that fucking sucks. Little Lel has followed. Okay, give me 1 second. I will be right back. Okay. So, yeah, and it has been just, I am juggling 2 collab projects I'm kind of doing right now. So, and I also, on weeks like this where I'm just like busy with other shit, it gets really hard to stream. But god damn it, there's so much shit happening, y'all. Like all the time. This is not new for us, but in between what we've seen happen so far with Trump and the Epstein, which we'll go over the Epstein stuff because I've been keeping y'all updated on that. If y'all didn't know that yesterday Republicans unanimously blocked the release. I guess let's just fucking go over that now real quick. And sorry, I'm maybe sniffly today. My allergies are kicking my ass. Oh, Johnson breaks with Trump, calls for DOJ to release Epstein files. Let's fucking go. Hello, Juno. All but one of the GOP members of the House Rules Committee voted against. What are they hiding? Indeed, indeed. People are fed up. They're fed up. Thanks, Ralph Norman. Need to put the American people before the party. $5 from Plebs the Clown. Thank you for $5. Hi, finished fan art. Oh, thank you. I will be sure to look at that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Allergies domain, fucking for real. So I wanted to start with our friend. You know him, you love him, Matt Walsh, who is nothing if not, I was talking to, oh shit, God, I cannot go to X. I'm so glad that was the PRB picture, not something else. Whoa, that'd be crazy. Juno, that could have been you, okay? That could have been you. What was I doing? Matt. Oh, like you would have been sad. You'd have loved it. Porn domain. Smack my head. Okay, no, wait. Hold up. Okay, whoa. The search history was for a video. The search history was not personal. It was for a video. The video that I was just talking about that I've been working on, that is probably not coming out for another month because there is stuff, and not against those people, by the way, but there is stuff involving litigation that has to do with the video. Again, nothing to do with those people who were listed, but that is why I'm, and also I have a shit ton more people in the interview. So, SOAR. I mean, look, let's just say if I showed you my, call me Casey K for a video. Yeah, I've talked to Casey for a video. Don't worry about it. Yeah. PRB is great. PRB followed me. Who is Gutfeld? Greg Gutfeld is a fucking... Well, we've talked about, if y'all haven't talked about Greg Gutfeld, I believe Jose had a video on Greg. Was it Jose? I think anytime Jose and Big Joel cover a topic, I get so confused. I don't know why I confuse them. Their styles and stuff they're nothing fucking alike. Yeah, Greg Gutfeld is a wildly unfunny, uncharismatic, dog shit attempt by Fox News to have a late night comedy show, and it's inexplicably one of the most popular television programs in the world because fucking look, millennials and all the way through Zoomers want to die a slow brain death by AI. Gen Xers and Boomers and everybody older have resigned themselves to slow living brain death by Fox News, apparently. So Matt Walsh, I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Oh, Violet Values, thank you for ARS 100. Hi, Domain. I know my money is worth crumbs, but I really love your content. Love from Argentina. Thank you so much, Violet. I appreciate that so much. Argentina. There are very few parts of my high school Spanish I maintained, but it was a lot of the pronunciations of like Brasilia, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. I still love saying Uruguay. So the thing about the current state of politics is that the right wing in particular has spent over a decade now of Trump's kind of ascendancy feeding and growing creatures like Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson. And in addition to stoking their egos, allowing them to pursue their own bizarre tangents. It's created this additional thing where they have a platform, and they have never been really disproven in the crazy shit they say. But unlike a lot of other people in the conservative media space, they aren't grifters. They won't always step in line with literally whatever. Unfortunately for people like Trump, people like Matt Walsh and Tucker, for as dumb as bricks and stupid as their opinions, conspiracies, all they buy into, as awful as that shit can be, they are true believers. I fully believe, this is one of the things I loathe Matt Walsh as a human being. But there is one thing I begrudgingly respect about him, and that is the fact that, like, Matt Walsh believes the insane, dumb shit he says. Tucker reminds me of Candace Owens in a way, where it's like, okay, this person was always waiting inside, like this just actually unhinged near sociopath has always been there, but they had a facade up. They had a mask that hid the worst aspects of themselves while still engaging the right. Literally 1984. Yeah, exactly. Like listen to, we talked about, it was last year. Yeah, Tucker Carlson's Demon Story Time was last year, where he was like, no, I believe that there's that demons came and attacked me in the middle, like all that shit. So Tucker Carlson, and Tucker has been getting closer and closer with Alex Jones, somebody who believes in literal demons and aliens and all sorts of shit, interdimensional ghosts and fucking all kinds of shit. And while Matt isn't on that tip, Matt is on a constant Christian nationalist tip, which is funny because, so he had a thing today. One thing I do want to call attention to, because it was just such a good look at, here we go. No. Like, he has such a stunning lack of awareness where he's like, why don't conservative billionaires fund conservative protest movements? Billionaires literally funded and started the Daily Wire. But there was, here's the other one. Why should American families be forced to spend even one dime? Now, mind you, this is somebody who advocates for living by Christian principles. He advocates for living through Christ. He believes that Jesus is Lord and all that shit. Why should American family... I'm going to do this in my Matt Walsh voice. Okay, so close your eyes, everybody. Close your eyes. Turn on your beach sounds CD. Let the waves take you and then just drift into the lull of my bearded voice. Why should American families be forced to spend even one dime treating STDs in foreign countries? Please explain why a family in Ohio should be obligated to provide HIV treatments to a gay man in Uganda. I'd love for someone to explain this. The funny thing about that is that, like, there is somebody who answers it so well, like just down below. Epidemics will overflow until they threaten our interests or those of our allies. That's true. That's why we had so much USAID. This idea, we talked about it months ago when they started doing the cuts of soft power, where we don't, like, I'm sorry to say it, this idea of conservatives that, like, we're just giving away money and we're just doing that. The U.S. is not so altruistic. Never has been, never will be. The United States State Department, the CIA, FBI, DOJ, Department of Intelligence, all that shit, are not going to spend millions and eventually billions of dollars overseas if it did not get the country something. We are like they live in this world where, oh, apparently we're just a fucking charity. It's like, no, not really. But one of the byproducts of the aid and the help that we give to countries is that, yeah, sometimes people's lives can be saved. Sometimes monitoring can happen. And one of the other knock-on effects way down the line of like consequentiality is that, yeah, the stemming the tide of these epidemics not only helps the people in those countries, but helps to ensure that eventually they don't mutate, eventually they don't come over here, that things don't continue to get worse. Of course, for somebody like Matt Walsh, he probably just believes like, oh, well, they all deserve to die anyway. Here we go. And then, again, this... It's one of those things where you can really tell how smart he thinks he is, and that he definitely thinks it's because he didn't even set foot in a college course. Matt Walsh, somebody saying epidemics will overflow until they threaten our interests or those of our allies. Besides which, if we have the know-how, why not help the world? If we have inexpensive tech to produce food, why not give it freely? To which Matt Walsh replies, it's extremely easy to avoid getting HIV. No reason for a normal person in a first world country to spend a second worried about it. Because Matt is an idiot. And Matt apparently seems to think that the only way anybody gets HIV is through gay sex. That's what he's saying about a normal person in a first world country. He's saying that, oh no, it's not the straights that do that. It's those slurs. To which this guy says, is there no place in this world for Christian charity? To which somebody else says, Christian charity is me taking your money and giving it away to somebody based on my personal ideas about where it should go. Again, this is not based on just like, oh, I think we should help people with HIV in Africa because I'm a liberal socialist. No, it's because it helps influence America's soft power. I'm searching for the part in the Bible where Jesus says, be selective with the people you need help. Matt is out of the conversation by this point. But the way this rolls perfectly wraps back into his dumb bullshit and how he might be the most unchristian person who continues to advocate just for Christianity and that America is a Christian country on Christian principles. So Jesus stole from people and gave away their shit. Quote, give to the one who asks you and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Matthew 5:42. And then somebody else is like, how do I keep dodging the question? It's like, no, that's your thing, dude. Like people will be like, they get in this headspace of, oh, you can't quote the Bible back at me because you don't even believe in that. It's like, yeah, but you do. You are the one who is saying that, oh, this guides my life and that everybody needs to be educated on this and everybody needs to follow the Bible to the letter and we need to teach it in schools because it's the foundation of our country and the foundation of Western civilization and Judeo-Christian values and blah, blah, blah. And then they'll turn around and be like, but what about me? What about you? Like, nuh-uh. They'll turn around and be like, no, actually that's for you. Actually, that's not... God says it's not for me, it's for you. And it's just so... It's so fucking frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating. And I don't necessarily... I see somebody in the chat saying it, where I don't necessarily think that, like, if Jesus came back today, they'd call him a woke commie libtard and tell him to go back to his country. I don't necessarily think that... okay, it's not that I don't think that. It's that I think that that's like a moot argument or a moot point to make because the socioeconomic, the political landscape of Rome in the Roman Empire in the time of Jesus was so functionally different from anything modern Like the pre-modern, applying the ideas of the pre-modern world to the postmodern world, which we live in now, I think is a fool's errand. I think it is a ridiculous thing to do. But at the same time, again, it is like I personally think that's a little silly to do. But at the same time, if you're gonna have people out here being like, well, yeah, I tell you what, Jesus would have let me have my AK-47 and carry it into Albertsons, and I'm just taking it from my family to go get Chick-fil-A, and I have my AR-15 and my two 15-year-old boys, Tucker and Dale. Well, they got their shotguns too, because that's the way Jesus raised us. Like, okay, if we have people seriously believing in that shit, yeah, fine. Thou shalt not kill. That's why I own 14 guns. Tucker and Dale, Steve, Marmot, Matt Walsh. Those were words I had to think about. But the problem with Matt Walsh being such a god, he's looking, oh, buddy, that thumbnail is not doing you favors. He's looking old now. What the fuck happened? Damn. Woof. Whoo. He's getting, god damn, dude. I don't like ultra high def Matt Walsh. This is making, he's just staring at me through the screen. Jeez Louise. The thing with Matt Walsh, much like Tucker Carlson, who's also been on this, like, well, Epstein didn't kill himself. They expect us to believe that? Like, Tucker has also been on this shit. And Matt Walsh has been nonstop. I passed some of it on the Twitter feed. He's been nonstop tweeting about this. Because again, Matt Walsh is not a true believer. You've probably seen, if you're on Twitter, unfortunately, you've probably seen going around the couple other like Trump supporter or Trump accounts who are like, hey, Trump said, one of them said, the boss. One of them put it, the boss said, like a fucking Batman goon. The boss said to drop it. And Matt Walsh is like, but wait a minute. Trump said that he was going to release the Epstein files, and now we're being told there's no Epstein files. And Matt, ever the noticer, also is like, okay, so Trump is going to appoint a special prosecutor to look at the Epstein files. But also there's nothing in the Epstein files, so why would you need a special prosecutor? Why can't you just... Yeah, Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson is another one who's been like, no, this is, which of course, like, Benny Johnson doesn't fucking believe anything. And Benny Johnson, Benny Johnson has had, I need to stop saying Benny Johnson so much. Had the most popularity he's ever had in the last 2 years. Like, the dude is going down to the border and doing shit with Kristi Noem and has the inside scoop on shit. Like, He's fucking... Benny Johnson's riding the gravy train with biscuit wheels right now. Gravy train, biscuit wheels. And he's not going to be fucking... He's not going to step out of line. Like, he doesn't believe in anything enough to step out of line. Hey, John Bainbridge. Bunny Johnson sounds like Cockney slang for... Oh, Benny Johnson, ain't it? No, if Matt got Botox, he wouldn't have these wrinkles in his head. Stephen King also decided to come out and be like, I don't understand the Stephen King one personally. Like, imagine being one of the most prominent writers on the planet and feeling the need to be like nothing to see here. Yeah, I didn't have king on my bingo card either. I do now. I do now. Yeah, yep, Grand Theft Auto bot. Why is Google Ads showing me ads for gay Cruises Johnson? Yep, that's the same, the one and the same, the one and only Benny Ben. He is like quietly the gayest person, which like you can still be gay and be like, this isn't 2003 anymore, although they're trying to take it back to that. I'm not saying he wouldn't ostracize himself from a couple people, but like he is not like on the level. I'm just saying, people still talk to Dave Rubin. Okay, Benny, you can come out. Benny. It's alright. No, it wasn't Representative Steve King. Stephen King is not right wing. Stephen King just said basically that like the Epstein client list doesn't exist. He put out a tweet basically saying it was a conspiracy theory. He said something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, the Epstein client list is real. So is Santa Claus and Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy or some shit." And yeah, he basically said it was a hoax, and it's like, what? Nobody was asking about you, Steven, until now. Now people are. Yeah, that really fucking, I was like, I don't have my, like, and here's the weird part is that Stephen King is like a resistance lib. Like, Stephen King is out here, you know, talking about King Trump and shit. Like, he's been on that resistance tip for a while. And it's so odd. So odd. And so, like, people are, Rebecca Watson, no, I did not see her video on the list. Was it ever confirmed to exist? Yes! Like, what? Epstein's little black book? Like, huh? Ooh, Dead Domain, what's your favorite anime manga art style you can think of off the top of your head? Probably Junji Ito. Like, just through sheer over, like, most of my manga library is Junji Ito. But, you know, the one that I really, really love that I think gets underrated for how unique and expressive his style is Naoki Urasawa, who did Monster and a bunch of other stuff. Monster fucking, oh. I read Monster way too young, but fuck, that shit whips. So fucking good. Yeah. Yeah, Naoki Urasawa is really up there. And then Ito is like so iconic, like so simple and like clean yet busy at some points. Yeah. But yeah, I love Naoki Urasawa. I was reminded of this. I saw a tweet the other day where somebody, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, but they had been drawn. I assume it was Naoki who did it, unless he's passed away. I'm not up to date on my mangaka, and who's still with us. And it was in the style of Naoki Urasawa, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. Like it is such a. It's a really expressive style. Like, it is cartoony without, somehow it is both exaggerated yet incredibly humanistic, the way Urasawa draws people. If there's one critique I have of Junji Ito is that I think a lot of his characters look almost exactly the same. And Urasawa does not have that. Like, all of his characters are so unique, so different. Amazingly, a lot of the time, like sometimes, because Monster was written a while ago, and so I get it, but a lot of his characters don't fall into like racial caricature. Some of them, is a little, but for the most part, I think he just has a really unique way of depicting people and emotion and like expressiveness, which is so, like, so many of the art pieces in Monster are integral to the story being told, which is, that's true of any comic book, any comic or visual medium, but just the way the little like stunned expressions of shock or horror or like it just is good. It's good shit. If you haven't read Monster, fucking do it. Do that shit. Okay, but sorry, y'all know what happens. You get me off on a tangent. God damn it. It's fine. It's fine. So Matt Walsh has not let go of the Jeffrey Epstein thing, and I have been saving watching him to watch with you. Thank you very much for 10 from Echo Kepler. Have I seen Hunter x Hunter? It's a really cool anime. I have not. Was the last time I watched an anime? I don't know. I don't remember the last time I like sat down and watched a full anime. Yeah, it's been years. And if I ever do watch anime, I try and keep it to like something that's 1 or 2 seasons. I just straight up do not have it in me to. I used to. Okay, I will say when I was like 16, 17, 18, I got really, this will be a shock to many of you. 16, 17, 18, I got really into harem, like Ichi. And so I watched a lot of stuff like Rosario Vampire and Sekirei, and there were a couple other ones, I think. There was another one that I actually kind of liked, but I don't remember what it was. Rosario Vampire, Sekirei, whatever. Yeah, I had a weird coming around the other day where I was like, I probably should have like done more introspection about myself when I was reading stuff like D and Angel. When I was like a kid, not a kid, I was a teenager. Aging out of the Target demo for anime. I mean, like, no, like I'll still go see movies. Like I saw Perfect Blue in theaters. Both of the last times it's been in. I go and see some of the Ghibli movies. It seems like they're always fucking playing Ghibli movies in theaters, so it's not quite as special as it once was. Yeah. Seeing Superman on Monday, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Oh, Kill a Kill was another one that I was this shocking, I'm sure, to know I was super into when I was 17 and 18. Which is insane to think about how long ago that was. Yeah, ones like harems, that same to me. It was like I am too mature to be like titillated by anime girls, honestly. And so it's like whatever. Yeah, did I see Sinners? Fuck yeah, I saw Sinners. Love Sinners. Sinners is a hell of a movie. Oh yeah, I watched The Ghost in the Shell. Oh, I'm so fucking. Seeing Ghost in the Shell on a big screen was like, it's one of those. I try and any like big anniversary movies I really try and go see on a big screen just because I want to experience it in the theatrical setting. And I saw Alien, the original cut of Alien on a big screen. That's good shit. That's good shit. I took a partner to go see Jaws. Magnifique. Like you see, Jaws is one of those movies that you're like, is Jaws actually that fucking good? It's a movie about a shark. How fucking good could it be? And you're like, oh shit. You suddenly are every movie studio executive in 1977 or whenever it came out, 76, 75. And you see Jaws and you're like, damn, I don't know. This Steven Spielberg guy has hands. I think he might be going places. Shit. Like, you see immediately, like, yes, this is the brilliance that would go on to craft fucking Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, Indiana Jones, E.T., like unfucking limited. Yeah, hell yeah. Superman, I spent almost $200 on movie tickets, so it better be good. Why are you spending that much money? Have you heard about AMC stubs? Yeah, I did actually ride the Jaws ride at Universal when I was a kid. Um, it's yeah, no, AMC stubs, great, great. So we need to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and Matt Walsh. Great way to
Today on
start.
Matt Walsh Show, we're now being told that there's nothing to see here with Jeffrey Epstein, no client list, no other culprits, and he did kill himself. We'll sort through the latest on this story, and I'll explain why I don't buy the official narrative for even a second. Also, bureaucrats.
Very funny. He is the one thing that Matt Walsh is never. He is too unself-aware, far too self-serious. But his like deconstructing phase that he's going through, where he is like, you can see the cognitive dissonance just clashing in real time.
Weep and wail in the street as relatively minor layoffs hit the State Department. A woke DA drops all charges against a registered sex offender who attempted to kidnap a child from a playground. And Chip and Joanna Gaines. Well, it was inevitable that after returning from a 2-week vacation, I would discover that I had missed a lot of major news stories and outrage cycles. That comes with the territory when you go offline for any significant period of time. What I didn't expect was to come back and feel like someone who had been in a coma for the past 5 years, only to awaken and realize that the world is apparently a very, very different place than I thought it was, and then I remember.
Because he for some fucking reason, he thought in the front of his head, he's like, yeah, Trump's going to release the Epstein list. Trump's not on there, despite all the evidence to the contrary. There's definitely nobody big and powerful in the conservative movement on the Epstein list. Come on. You idiot. You rube. You absolute dullard. You buffoon.
It being. I didn't expect that some of the most basic facts that we all took for granted, things that no serious person would dispute, would suddenly become the stuff of quote-unquote conspiracy theories, all in the span of just 14 days or so. But indeed, more or less, that's what happened. As I returned from vacation the other day, quite unexpectedly, I learned that Jeffrey Epstein was not, in fact, an international sex trafficker, even though he was arrested for being one, and his closest associate was convicted for trafficking children. I also learned that there is no Jeffrey Epstein client list, even though the Attorney General said she had one on her desk. Additionally, I discovered that Jeffrey Epstein did indeed kill himself, even though the video supposedly proving this point was edited multiple times and omits an entire minute for no apparent reason. And furthermore, I learned that no prominent or powerful people were implicated in Jeffrey Epstein's underage trafficking operation.
And again, no, because he is so innately, on a deep cellular level, beholden to his ideals about Western identity and Christianity and all this shit, any introspection this leads him to, any dissonance he feels about, like, well, why isn't Trump doing this? Like, Trump is on our side. Trump's supposed to do this. It's just going to fucking go right over his head. Like, I'm willing to bet, because the Dems are... Okay, the Republicans are really scrambling, and they're doing a real bad job of not looking suspicious. From Trump being like, oh, stop, like, basically yelling at reporters, stop talking about Epstein. Epstein isn't a big deal. To them being like, okay, we'll look into it, but we're going to appoint a special looker into it. And, like, there's a lot. There's a lot.
In any way, even though dozens of them flew on his plane to his creepy sex island. And on top of that, I was informed that the whole issue doesn't matter and that it's weird to care about any of this, and we should all just move on and discuss far more important topics, even though literally all of the people now saying that it doesn't matter all agreed that it did matter as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Again, a lot of those people were ones that Matt has been supporting, were ones that Matt has been working with in some cases. And at no point, the big fault of the modern conservative movement in incubating this furor of people like Matt, incubating this just wanton disregard for facts over feelings, is it has led to this moment where you have dangled these carrots on the stick of people who you like. We have done everything in society to make sure that the mental health of our populace isn't taken care of, and you are dangling these rabid carrots in front of them constantly. You are dangling these carrots to incentivize them to continue going, continue fighting, continue getting riled up over the stuff that you want them to support. And then you suddenly just expect to be able to yank the carrot away and they're not going to care anymore. Like Matt Walsh, again, in a microcosm, is a look at such a specific kind of guy. Somebody who makes up a not insignificant part of the American populace, of people who are so hyper-fixated on one or two or three things and cannot be dissuaded from that. And until now, that has worked really well for conservatives. Until now, it has worked really well to have people hyper-fixate, really get fucking incensed and just, so mad about the border. And the millions coming across the border as an invasion. About trans women in sports. Oh, they're taking away everything from trans women. About fighting the Democratic elites and fighting all this QAnon kind of adjacent stuff and stopping sex trafficking and Operation Underground Railroad and blah, 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 blah. And now you're at a point where it no longer serves them, the people leading the conservative movement. Don't get me wrong. There are people in the Democrat Party on that fucking list too. But it no longer serves them to have people paying such close attention, such tight, locked-in scrutiny on these things. And they want them to just go away. But it's beautiful in a way. Like the synchronicity of, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Where they have done this mental dance with each other. And now one of them is still ready to do the dance. They're staying on the dance floor all night. And the other one's like, oh, I don't want to keep dancing though, because I thought we were done. And the other one's like, nah. That one's Matt Walsh right now.
Now, this is the kind of inexplicable and shameless pivot that the left historically specializes in service of their ideology without even a hint of hesitation. Leftists will eagerly denounce the very same facts and ideas that they were parroting just 5 seconds earlier, and they see no problem with it. They'll tell you, for example, my body, my choice, and then turn around.
Okay. Again, just a staggering, stunning lack of self-awareness that he is saying, leftists will tell you one thing, and then later they'll tell you another. When this is the dude who has been rabidly fighting for Trump for this vision of American excellence and all this bullshit and falling directly in line with the party line. And now he's like, but wait, why is Trump doing this? Are you, my dude?
And destroy your life if you don't get an experimental shot. They'll tell you Russia isn't a threat and that Mitt Romney needs to stop being so paranoid about Putin. Then the moment Donald Trump wins an election, they'll insist that hackers in the Kremlin are capable of mind controlling millions of voters. They'll explain that only women can have opinions on abortion. Then they'll tell you that actually, well, men and women are the same thing. And
that's not true. That's not true. It's pretty obvious when people say, well, all right, again, you have to take into account his perspective on this. When people tell Matt Walsh and he walks away thinking, well, you think that only women can have opinions on abortion. Obviously, it's because you're Matt Walsh. It's because you're Matt Walsh. People are saying that. It's because you are you that people are telling you, not specifically that, only women can have opinions on abortion. It's that your opinion on abortion, from your perspective, doesn't fucking matter. Do not care. No. These aren't the files you're looking for. Aaron W. Nichols, thank you for $20. Do you believe Matt will do a Jubilee surrounded segment like all other former and current DW pundits? Also, would you join the debaters pool given an invite? I think I would. Okay, look, here's the thing. I'm actually, it's funny because I'm working on, if you'll believe it, I'm working on a lot of projects right now. Another reason I'm fucking tired. I'm actually working on a video essay kind of on Jubilee. It's not like an investigation, it's going to be an opinion piece kind of breaking down this debate culture and why it's fucking stupid. So I do think it's real fucking dumb. Like I will be the first to say Jubilee slop. Absolute pig trough slop. And you'll be like, but Vesper, you've watched Jubilee a bunch. I know. Because unfortunately, I'm American. And if you put a cheeseburger in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. I am but an American beast. And I have been trained very well. Unfortunately. Yeah, anyway.
On and on and on. Hypocrisy isn't really the right word for this kind of behavior.
No, it is. It is, Matt. He doesn't want to admit that hypocrisy is the right word for this kind of behavior because that would mean him also.
It doesn't quite capture it. This is zealotry. This is people who are willing to suspend reality along with their own common sense because they believe it will benefit them politically.
Matt, again, you believe in literal God. You believe in angels and demons, dude. Okay.
So in order to remain a viable political movement, and in order to appeal to sane voters who remain a slim majority in this country, conservatives have to reject this mode of thought or lack thereof. We cannot blindly follow commands that contradict everything we've been told and everything we've observed for many years. Practically and morally and politically, it's wrong. And yet, when it comes to Epstein, it has been people on the right engaging in this kind of behavior. So let's talk about Epstein and what this administration has been saying about him and what they're saying now and what kind of sense we can make of all of this. So let's go back to begin with, to February 21st, which you've probably seen this clip replayed, but we'll play it again, in which the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, was asked directly about Epstein's client list. Watch.
You know, I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by.
So Pam Bondi has come out and tried to say that, well, I wasn't talking about the client list. I was talking about the Epstein files. I was talking about stuff about Epstein. All that shit we reviewed and sent out. Two things. One, from what we saw there, abundantly clear that's not the fucking case. He literally asked Epstein files, Epstein client list. He literally asked Epstein client list, and she went, yeah, I got that. The client list, I got that on my desk. Two, if you'll remember, the big rollout they did with fucking libs of TikTok, DC Drano and all those dipshits, was meant to be just the first in a wave of Epstein files being released. So we know for a fact that's not it. But continue, Pam.
President Trump, I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we'll check back with you.
It's sitting on her desk right now. What's sitting on her desk? Well, the Epstein client list. She says that specifically. She does not say that this list might be out there somewhere. She doesn't say that she's...
I hate that Matt Walsh and I are on the same fucking page. I hate that we looked at the same thing and said and thought the same thing. This sucks. This is the point in a mirror reality where the two opposite forces meet. I fucking hate this.
Still looking for the list. She doesn't say that she sent Indiana Jones out on a mission to find the list deep in a cave in the jungle somewhere. No, she says it is sitting on her desk at that present moment in February of this year. Now, less than a week later, on February 26th, Bondi was back on Fox, and this time she was there to explain that she was about to release flight logs and other information about Epstein. She also said that Epstein had hundreds of victims, that the DOJ has been slow to release information only because it wants to protect the privacy of those victims.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
So, again, and they've one of the reasons Republicans have rallied around, apparently, okay, no, we can't release the Epsteins, is because they say it would be too traumatic. They want to let the survivors move on from the trauma. Which, again, hysterical for the Republican Party to start giving a shit now. Like they are really pissing on people's heads and telling them it's raining.
Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded, because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but
A lot of flight log. God. They're so bad at this. Again, the only reason Pam Bondi went out and said all this shit was theater. It was hubris. It was just like this rush of adrenaline from Trump taking over. Excuse me, sorry. I just ate something. This rush of adrenaline from Trump taking over, from the DOJ and the FBI, and like this just excitement in the air from a couple months ago. And like, oh yeah, no, totally, yeah, we have the Epstein client list, we have all this stuff, because they just wanted this blitzkrieg of look at all this shit that Trump is doing, and look at all this stuff we're doing, and oh yeah. And now we have all of the shit that they said to go back on and be like, okay, well, what's up with that? What was that about? Like, we've dealt with all the other stuff, so
it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well, we'll
along
look
with
for
his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
So tomorrow, she says, you're going to see a lot of names tomorrow, along with lots of other information. But, you know, that was back in February, and tomorrow has long since come and gone from the perspective of February. So what happened with all those names that she explicitly on camera promised? Well, nothing. There were no names released. There had never been any names released related to Jeffrey Epstein, except Ghislaine Maxwell. Instead, several influencers, as you may recall, were invited to the White House and handed large binders entitled The Epstein Files Phase 1.
see, God damn it. We're still on the same page. I hate being on the same page. I want to be on a different page from Matt Walsh. But he's talking about the same thing. Where it's like, yeah, no, they planned this to be, or that fucking train wreck, to be phase 1. Is the next thing he's going to say is like, well, that usually means that there's more phases after 1. Is what I'm predicting. I have not watched this video yet.
And they had reporters ready outside, ready to take pictures of the influencers triumphantly emerging from the White House, holding the binders as they exited. It was obviously a coordinated stunt. They made a big show of releasing the files, or at least phase 1 of the files. But within a few hours, it became...
Matt, again, this has not caused you at any point. You are able to see the discrepancies in this story. You're able to correctly draw the line of where something is wrong here. Something is fishy. Something is rotten in Denver. Yet, you can't just be like, damn, this kind of shit happens a lot around Trump. Damn, this kind of bullshit and cover-up and suspicious ties to motherfuckers just kind of radiates off Trump. What's that about? Like, you can't...
Clearly, the binders didn't contain any new information at all. Everything in the binders had been published before. So they didn't actually release anything. And this development posed an obvious problem for Pam Bondi's credibility. She had not told Jesse Waters that the DOJ was about to release old information that everyone already had access to. She had not promised to repackage previously released documents in a fancy new binder. I didn't hear that part of her Jesse Waters interview. Did you? Did you hear her say, well, you know, Jesse, we actually don't have any new information about Epstein, but what we do have are some fun new binders. No, instead she said that she had breaking news that would make
Katie
people
May,
sick.
thank you for following.
And she specifically told John Roberts and the audience at CPAC that the information related to the names of Epstein's clients. But none of that materialized. So instead, on February 28th, Bondi sent a letter to the FBI Director Kash Patel. Put that up on the screen there. And essentially, Bondi claimed that the FBI had thousands more documents in its possession. She demanded the FBI turn over those documents. And then in early March, the head of the FBI's New York field office was forced to resign after Bondi accused him of withholding the documents. But around the same time, she said that the FBI had finally produced the documents. And here's what she told Sean Hannity on March 3rd, quote, "I gave the FBI a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source has told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York. So we got them all by Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all those documents," close quote. For the next several weeks, Bondi would repeat variations of this statement. She would claim over and over again that the DOJ had received truckloads of new documents. She also said the DOJ possessed, quote, "tens of thousands of videos involving Epstein," videos that were never referenced in any of the previous Epstein cases. At a minimum, after all of this, you would expect some form of accounting from the Attorney General and the DOJ about what exactly is contained within these truckloads of documents. And given that tens of thousands of videos are involved, and Epstein was clearly involved in sex trafficking, which is why he was in prison in the first place, presumably a lot of people are implicated in these videos. A lot of other people, aside from Epstein himself. It's especially true since Bondi was explicitly asked about a client list and stated directly that the list existed and she had it in her possession. But instead of any explanation whatsoever, instead of any form of transparency to make sense of all of this, we instead got a memo from the DOJ and the FBI explaining that, this was last week, explaining that after reviewing all the new information, there actually was no new information. There was no client list. No one else is implicated. Epstein did kill himself, and there's nothing else to report on the subject. That's it. It's over. And then we were treated to this performance in the White House. Watch.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question.
I hadn't seen this footage. I knew what he had said, but I had read it in a soundbite. That's kind of crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's the way that he is. He actually feels like he's bad acting. Like, it really, it feels like him. I don't know, astute is a strong word for Matt Walsh. It is I can't say it. It's an observation. It's a valid observation, I'd say, for Matt Walsh to call it a performance, because it feels performative. It feels like bullshit. Like there is a ingenuine cadence to Trump. It is a different pace to the way he's talking. It is a different consideration for his words than his usual just drivel. Like, quite literally his usual spigot of blathering idiocy.
On Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
A desecration.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said...
Ooh, they have to stop the bleeding on this one. They gotta...
about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the...
Oof. Here we go. Meaning the file. This is exactly what she said. She is trying to go back to when somebody asked her, hey, do you have the client list? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, no, actually, like, look, maybe, let's say, for the sake of argument, maybe she did misspeak. Maybe she did have a slip of the tongue. Maybe she did misplace her words for a little bit. You can't be doing that on a national stage about a case involving a cover-up of the most prolific pedophile and sex trafficker in history. You can't. You can't. Like, you can't be making... Those are Bush League mistakes. That is fucking Parks and Recreational Department guffaw level shit. You cannot be fucking going on Fox fucking News with this weak shit.
File along with the JFK, MLK files as well.
Why does she always
That's
keep
what
bringing
I
those
meant
up
by
together?
that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
Here's the thing. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of horrible shit. Almost certainly. Without a doubt. The reason why, and if they're going to hide behind that as a reason why they're not releasing anything, then you need to have qualified investigators, people who do this shit for a living, comb through them. It is a heinous thing. And yeah, I don't think just anybody should have access to those files, obviously. But we are supposed to take her word that quite literally every single video file that the CIA, DOJ, FBI, that they took, the multiple hard drives, we are supposed to believe that every single file involved Epstein and Epstein alone, or just abuse material, and nobody else. For this fucking rich bitch financier, Lolita Express to the stars, dude had his own fucking island. Chris Tucker and Stephen Hawking were on the flight logs. And you're telling me there's nothing else to see? That the dude had nothing. Not even a fucking pirated DVD cam rip of something. Nothing. Come the fuck on. Come the fuck on.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from...
God, she's so fucking terrible at this. She's so terrible at this. Somebody asks you about this thing. You are the director. You are supposed to know. If somebody says, hey, what's the deal with the ties between Jeffrey Epstein and Mossad? You don't go, rain check? Yeah, you know what? Have my people call your people. How about that? Like, hey, when I know something, you'll know something. Okay. Like, I know that, like, the FBI is being run by conspiracy cranks and podcasters right now. These people are not qualified for this shit. That is Kristi Noem being this fucking she-wolf of the SS out here on the front lines of the ICE Gestapo shit. None of these fuckers know how to do these jobs. And that's why you're having breakdowns in communication, breakdowns in competency like this. Like, usually when the government is covering something up, usually when, and even if it's not like a big cover up, it's just, you know, stuff that needs to be kept safe for national security or whatever, it's better than this. What the fuck are they doing?
The video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing.
God damn. A video showing definitively. The video wasn't conclusive, but the evidence prior. Again, I hadn't seen this. Holy fuck, she is not going to be at that job much longer.
He committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
There's simply no getting around the massive crater-like hole that the administration dug for itself here.
Oh,
let's assume that everything Pam Bondi says in that clip is true, which I don't believe it is. She still hasn't explained why the DOJ released phase 1 of the Epstein files, implying that there are more coming. Phase 1 means there's a phase 2, at least. And keep in mind, that was before she allegedly discovered that the FBI was hiding truckloads of additional documents. They had already contemplated a phase 2, and then they got a truckload of more documents. And instead of getting a phase 2, we're told that, oh no, phase 1 was it. So what's going on here? What's in those phase 2 documents?
I don't know, Matt. Like he's so limited and hyper focused on Pam Bondi without thinking for a moment who I gave her that appointment. Who does she report to? Who was the first person to talk in that video saying, like, I can't believe you're still focusing on this guy, Epstein, this guy. Matt. Fucking absolute waste of gray matter.
And more to the point, how exactly is it remotely plausible that Jeffrey Epstein could have possessed tens of thousands of explicit videos without implicating a single other individual? Now, here's what the DOJ could do right now. They could unseal all of the relevant search warrants and affidavits for the raids on Epstein's properties. They could unseal and unredact all of Epstein's financial disclosures. They could also explain document by document what was in those truckloads of files they just recovered at the FBI. Even if it's irrelevant, they can explain why it's irrelevant. They could at least do that to begin with, and instead they're not doing any of it. They're just telling us to shut up, essentially. And
why do you think that might be? Let's think. Matt, I realize this isn't your strong suit. Let's think critically for a minute. Who does it benefit, first and foremost, if they would be implicated in the Epstein files to not come forward about that implication? Because you can sit there, conservatives can sit there and be like, well, the Clintons and the Democratic elites and all the bad people and Stephen Hawking and all this shit. But at a certain point, when these people are not being, these things are not being revealed, you have to ask, okay, well, who's it not being revealed by? And right now, that's Trump.
You know, at the end of that clip, Bondi didn't even respond when she was asked whether Epstein was an intelligence asset. She said that she would have to get back to us on that. This has been the go-to response to bury this question in Washington for many years. It's been the go-to response about everything Epstein related. Oh, we'll get back to you on that. We'll let you know. Rather than say yes or no, they evade in the most suspicious and incriminating way possible. And back during the first Trump administration, Alex Acosta, the former U.S. attorney who handled the Epstein case, basically did the same thing. Instead of addressing the question directly, he stalled, which of course basically confirms that indeed it is true that, as the Daily Beast first reported, Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence. Watch.
One more question.
Richard Lardner from the Associated Press. Mr. Secretary, were you ever made aware at any point in your handling of this case if Mr. Epstein was an intelligence asset of some sort?
So there has been reporting to that effect, and let me say, there's been reporting to a lot of effects in this case, not just now but over the years, and again, I would hesitate to take this reporting as fact. This was a case that was brought by our office. It was brought based on the facts. And I look at that reporting and others. I can't address it directly because of our guidelines. But I can tell you that a lot of reporting is just going down rabbit holes. A few more questions.
So, look, there are, I'm afraid, only two possible scenarios to make sense of all of this. And as a Trump supporter,
Stephanie Tucker, Jade, thank you for $5. Can't tell you how much it makes me shudder that I even somewhat agree with people like him and Alex Jones. This year sucks. Yeah, Alex Jones has been a lot more fascinating. Let me actually, I'm very tired of looking at his face. What is alexjones.com? Is that what it is now? Or is it not that? Is it not? Is it InfoWars? Tomorrow's news today. What is going on? What are we doing here? What? I don't know if y'all can see the AI Batman Alex. I think that's Alex Jones. I don't think that's Trump. I think that looks like Alex. That's fucking crazy. Political cartoons. Wow. Ben Garrison just has such a way with art. Oh, it's band.tv. That's what it was. Is the other InfoWars website. Okay, I guess not. I thought it was band.video. Did that shit get? It was supposed there was a band.tv. Okay, what was that? I just saw. President Trump sticks to his guns and again calls the Epstein files a Democrat hoax. They want to talk about the Epstein hoax, and the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Oh, all of a sudden, here we go. Okay, I do want to see this. I want to see Alex Jones's response. Band.video. Okay, that's what it is. I think so. Channeled math. What accounts for Trump's sudden U-turn on Epstein? I think it is. I don't necessarily think that it's that he didn't think he was in the files. I think that, and again, if I had to guess, and this is an absolute guess, let's be realistic here. There's no way I know. If I had to guess, I would say it has more to do with whatever they've uncovered, whatever the Department of Justice, the DOJ, whatever they've been digging into, they found way more than they expected to find. Is what I would think. Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta let somebody back in. Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna watch this whole thing. But I think that ultimately there's probably more of Trump in those files than they anticipated. Or they just found something really awful. Like who fucking knows?
You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been.
Wow, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. He is. Look. A lot of this comes down to him. A lot of the apprehension and suspicion. Because here's the thing. I myself, for a little while, I was like, you know what? Maybe there is nothing. You know, it's true that there's just, you know, it's a crazy fucking happenstance, and I have bought so far into, I have surrounded myself so much with conspiracy shit that I myself, nobody is immune to propaganda, that I myself have become susceptible to this conspiracy. Maybe it is time to let it go. But every subsequent event in the chain of the last couple weeks, every single press conference, every time somebody's answered a question, has been like, it's so fucking suspicious. It's so weird. It is the wrong way to take something if it was legitimately not a conspiracy. If it was legitimately nothing to worry about. It would, the way you go, if somebody asks you, where did you hear that it was a hoax? That the motherfucking Epstein client list is a hoax. And you're like, did you hear it from the person who would know, Pam Bondi? And he goes, nope, I just know it was the Democrats. And it's a Democrat plot. And it's like, you're not making them feel less suspicious. Matthew, thank you for $5. In 2016, he campaigned on lock her up, and he never intended to lock Hillary up. He said it played well with the crowd. Yeah, I think if he thought that like locking Hillary up right now would make this shit go away, I think he would try to. Honestly, I think he would try to have like ICE or DHS or do whatever.
Run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters, and Comey before him, and it's a bad group.
So his. Okay. So the guy who was president when Epstein was still alive, when Epstein died, it was the presidency after that that didn't implicate Trump, by the way. Because I think the Dems know full well that anybody who gets implicated, like, once the files are out, that's it. It is everybody on every side of what is like what looks like a Mexican standoff for this intelligence. Everybody knows once Pandora's out of the box, that's it. Once the genie's out of the bottle, that's it. Mackenzie L., thank you for $5. Given Trump and co.'s outright panic and fear of this issue, do you think it could potentially dismantle the entire MAGA movement and all its leaders? I don't know, honestly. I think no matter what, we have less than 5 years of Trump being around. And that is not me saying like, oh, like people are going to get him. I sincerely think his health is not great right now. I think the thing to keep in mind is how much of Biden's health and the failings of his health were kept entirely secret, were kept, kept a secret from the public, kept a secret from the voters. And like there is similar stuff to Trump already. There are pictures where he just has this bizarre like texture to his skin and his hands. I know. I was Saint Guillotine. I was joking about the Pandora's box. I was joking. I know. Pandora wasn't in the box. That was the joke. I think just there is stuff that already tells you his health is not tip top. It's not ship shape. It's not like the fucking like the medical doctors or whoever they'll pay off will say it is. There's something else going on here.
It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax.
Oh my God.
The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy.
I am so curious. I think this is a reckoning point for Alex. As much as it is like Matt is going through his own cognitive dissonance, this is a reckoning point for people like Alex Jones, who are opportunists to their core. And the thing about people like Alex Jones, I'd put Nick Fuentes, I'd put Benny Johnson, I'd put not Tucker. Who else? Maybe Ben Shapiro. Reich's too fucking dumb. Reich, I doubt she knows what state she's in most times. I think they have to decide. Glenn Beck was a great example of this. Tim Pool, another great example, where they have to decide how far they're going to ride these trains, because they know that the gravy train has a last stop, and they don't want to be on it. But they want to ride and get the good while the getting's good. But I think so many people, Alex Jones included, can tell, like there has been a change in the wind over the last couple months, over the shit with Musk, over this, over all the shit overseas, the stuff with Iran. There's a lot of shit.
They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements we've had, a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the
let's change the subject. Change the subject. There you go.
People that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
So Trump thinks he's got enough pull with the constituency to slap us around a little bit, and then we'll be good little boys and girls and shut up. And to me, it's not even the Epstein story now. It's this behavior. And so I really mean this. Everyone should pray for Trump and pray for the Holy Spirit to...
Again, so what we're seeing here is different than Matt Walsh. This is going to be another side of the kind of MAGA and right-wing reaction to this, where Alex needs to have his cake and eat it too. Like, he needs to be able to, and this has kind of been the way that he's always been, is that he needs to be able to bail out as soon as possible. if something goes wrong. He needs to be able to be like, see, I said this the whole time. Or if everything goes right, he needs to also be like, see, well, actually, I predicted this, and we worked. Of course, I knew this because I have contacts in the FBI, CIA. People talk to me. They call me up all the time and tell me things you wouldn't believe. Like, he needs to be able to fall back on that shit. And if he can't, the jig is up. That's it. So, which is why you get this fucking waffling response where he's like, so Trump thinks he can just slap people around. But also, you gotta pray for Trump. Please tell me he talks about like demons and angels and shit.
To be even stronger with him and to lead God and direct him and give him greater discernment and purify him and cleanse him. Because I have to say this prayer sometimes twice a day when I start, turning into Lex Luthor, folks. I mean, I don't do anything corrupt or bad. I don't do dirty tricks. I don't lie. But man, could I. I mean, I could just really wreck stuff. And that's why they want me off the air, because they think, God, that guy's got a lot of pull. He can do a lot of damage. No, you guys are doing the damage. I'm trying to stop you, okay? I don't want...
Alex is sad. Jonathan Black, thank you for $10. Ova Maga, wind whipped through its ranks. The wind was not the beginning, but it was a beginning. Yeah. The thing with Alex is that, again, you can see him basically gish galloping here, where he starts by talking about Trump, and now he is talking about, and I'm willing to bet, if I had to bet, I'd say he's probably going to start talking about the Democrat pedophile cult, the deep state. He might even throw trans shit in there for some reason. Let's find out. I want to see in the next couple seconds.
Power. I don't want to be in tuxedos at Mar-a-Lago. I don't want to be at the White House. I've already been invited. I had the White House calling me this morning. That's a whole nother thing. Bunch of big heavy hitters calling. And, it's like, what do you want, Alex? How can we make you happy? And I'm like, can Trump please stop destroying himself and us with him? Well, yeah, he does what he thinks is best. Streisand effect. Yeah, we know. Yeah, don't you? I'm right. So Laura Trump and, them need to get in there with the Don and say, listen, these people are your friends. And he's absolutely right, though. He just needs to elaborate. Not a 2-minute comment. When he says it's a hoax, not that Epstein was bad and did bad stuff. He said that. But the way they're presenting it, and obviously they had the file, that makes perfect sense. I don't know why I mentioned that some, but didn't make it a cornerstone. That's absolutely central. I believe Trump. And he knows how they use these twisted stories that are 90% lies to take control of agendas and suck the oxygen out of the room and kill the recovery and the peace plan he's got. I understand that. Trump is right. Trump is correct about that. But the way he's going about it is only energizing his opposition. Trump is still meeting with the Bahrainian.
What do you mean it's only energizing his opposition? Like, the way he's going about it is making everybody ask all the questions. Ugh. Is he dyeing his facial hair? Almost certainly at this point.
Prime Minister, and he's been taking questions, and
whatever.
Not demonic energy, but if you study it and experienced it, tectonic.
Okay, well, I can't just roll back and not, or I can't.
And have been doing a good job pro-America. We need them both. And the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. And for all the Democrats hoping Trump collapses somehow over this, that's not going to happen. He's very popular. He's doing a great job overall. But from insiders that know Trump very well, they say all the pressure on him and his family, the attempts to kill him, he's such a workhorse that he didn't crack up.
Oh, yeah, he's such a... this is the having your cake and eat it too. It is the most feigned, light criticism of the God Emperor because he cannot afford, like literally Alex Jones cannot afford to be out of MAGA's good graces right now. He quite literally would not have any kind of career if it wasn't for the most fervent, ardent, conspiratorial side of MAGA. And now that this conspiracy is wrapping all around Trump, what does he do? What does he do? Does he risk losing the entire base he's been working on the last decade? Or does he feed into the conspiracy gremlins that he's been feeding after midnight for even longer? Like, he really is between a fucking rock and a hard place. I mean, it's all shitty. Either way.
Didn't fall apart. He didn't become a failure. He didn't buckle to stress, but he, like Doomsday, the more you attack him, the stronger he gets. And I'm only 51 and being messed with and attacked.
God damn, that's a rough. Oh, man. Also, you can absolutely fucking tell he just watched Batman v Superman. He does this a lot where he'll watch a movie. Weird timing on this. And then, like, just make the most random. Like, because do you think he's really reading The Death of Superman? No, he watched Batman v Superman. Also, the idea that Trump is hardworking. The dude can be seen almost every weekend going down to his fucking golf clubs. 51 in total years. Yeah, that's a fucking. Ugh. I mean, like, look. Alex has done some hard living. I ain't gonna lie.
And just viciously lied about and persecuted doesn't make me feel sorry for myself. Doesn't make me want to give up. It makes me want to fight even harder. And I've had to pray a lot about this. And I think you've seen it on air, folks. It's not demonic energy, but if you study it and experienced it, tectonic, berserker, extreme male will is fleshly, and it's something God gave us to be able to use to defend ourselves and motivate ourselves.
God gave us tectonic, berserker, extreme male energy to protect ourselves. And he is what he's saying, because he's kind of going all over the place. Is he saying Trump has that? Trump might be the, like, again, they have to stick to these narratives, otherwise they wouldn't have narratives at all. The idea that Trump is an alpha, that he has this, just masculine energy. He is the most queenie little bitch in the United States government. Like, if Lindsey Graham didn't vote against him, I guarantee they would geek out about fucking Broadway musicals together. Guaranteed. You cannot. Like the infamous, the Braden Carter tweet. Vanity Fair's Braden Carter. Was it the New Year party? No longer hot. It's no longer hot. Like, come on, man. Come on.
But the devil can jack into that energy. You know, Mike Tyson's talked about it. And so when I get in that state, I resonate stronger with the dark side, and I got to be real careful.
Oh, my God.
Because I'm very empathic. We all are, but I'm extremely empathic. And you don't want to jump in the driver's seat. So the Ring of Mordor is right there.
Oh, my God, dude.
Right now. It's very tempting. I would become a terrible king. But I'm not going to put on the ring.
What is he even talking about?
Trump put it on, boys and girls. About he was
there you go. Levi Taylor, thank you. Sissy Graydon Carter's Oscar parties are no longer hot. They're not hot. People are saying this. Vanity Fair's Great Carter's parties aren't hot. Yeah, he's talking about the Ring of Mordor. I don't know what the fuck I missed one sentence and I have no idea what he's talking about. He's just Sephiroth posting. God forbid Alex Jones ever, like, anybody sit down and explain Final Fantasy VII to Alex Jones. If I ever have a conversation with Alex Jones, that's what I'm like, Alex, have you heard about this thing, Final Fantasy VII? Oh, you would love it. Let me tell you about this guy, Sephiroth. I guarantee you the very next broadcast he did, he'd be talking about what Sephiroth did to Nibelheim. He thought he could get away with it. Like, imagine him finding out about Metal Gear. Oh, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's like here's the thing. When you get right down to it, you could pretty easily map a lot of Barrett's dialogue onto Alex Jones. Yeah, I'm just saying. Can't you hear the planet? Let's go. Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 50 bits. Me talking to Alex about Warframe. This guy, the man in the wall, he needs alien children. Space Epstein. Hellas Ajas, thank you for following. Julie Anna, thank you for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Tier 1 subbies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, Metal Gear would go fucking crazy. Metal Gear would go crazy with Alex Jones.
They Democrat deep state, just like the Patriots, thought they took out Solid Snake. Oh, but they didn't. Thought they could take out Liquid Snake. But he became Revolver Ocelot.
And he would just do the most random fucking voices and quotes, just like,
kept you waiting, huh? The lolly lule low.
Taco Face Fire, thank you for $2. Trump is making files great again. Oh, I wish. Alex Jones as Barrett is dangerous. He could easily radicalize me.
Look, I'm not saying anything, but I've seen the files. It's all been declassified, folks. It's all come out in congressional testimony that Raiden was not born Raiden. That's right. They don't want you to know this, but Raiden is not a man, and we could tell this the whole time. Naturally, you can tell by the ratio of the shoulders to the hips. He's got those wide birthing hips. And they put him in they call it the skull suit. It keeps everything pressurized for infiltration missions. But they don't want you to know they're turning him into a cyborg.
I'm glad, chat, I'm glad we had this moment. I'm glad we all together, all couple 300 of you, got to witness this with me.
Flirting, putting it on and off until Butler, he put it on. When he hit the ground, you see that photo of him on the ground bleeding. You look at that face. When he popped back up, ring went on. And that's what's going on. That's the best.
So according to Alex Jones, if I'm getting this straight, when Trump was shot, he put on the Ring of Mordor. And, well, okay, so hey, hang on, Jason Kelly. My dad used to make me listen to Rush Limbaugh and George Norrie. George Norrie isn't so bad. George Norrie is just like weird conspiracy late night shit. George Norrie, I would say George Norrie, staple of classic talk radio. Rush Limbaugh, awful. War crime.
Best analogy, but it's not a movie. That's a great archetype. It's not a book. It's what that book is based on in the real world as an allegory by the genius J.R.R. Tolkien. And so, Trump's enemies ought to really watch out because he put it on. And what he's saying to everybody is, you better get out of my way. And I'm a chronicler. I alone can tell you of the days of great adventure. That's the intro to that classic Millis masterpiece, Conan the Barbarian. The second one was terrible by the director, or the writer. But what a powerful representation of the great archetypal books of Robert E. Howard from Texas.
He's just fucking name dropping shit. Like what is this? He is just name dropping random shit that he likes. Like I do that too, but it's to draw a comparison. It's a point. He's just saying words. Yeah, also the idea, somebody brought it up astutely in the chat. How do you say, okay, well, Trump has the Ring of Mordor. That wasn't a good thing, dude. That wasn't the point, the point of the movies, the point of the books, the point of the story is that it's not good. That you don't want. The ring is bad. Having that much power, nobody should have it. That it is seductive. But that ultimately we have to rely on each other and the friends we made along the way. And something about eagles. Like that's the point. Jay, thank you for $2. So you might do crossover impressions more often. Maybe.
Who himself could have been the heavyweight champion. What a maniac. That when you read those Conan books, that's what's in his mind. Untrained writer writing that savage stuff, 'cause that's what was in him. And his mother died, so he blew his head off in the parking lot of a hospital in Texas.
Jesus Christ, dude.
But the point is...
Jesus Christ, dude.
See if you guys can find the intro to Conan, where it's got the chronicle, and it goes, I alone can tell you the days of great adventure. But see, that's my archetype. My job is to tell you what I really think. And that means I can't comport myself into these different factions and, groups and all the rest of it. I'm not going to tell you what I want to believe. I'm not going to tell you what I want to happen. I'm not going to tell you what I wish was. I'm going to tell you what I really stand for. And I want to tell the Democrats and the globalists and the deep state something. You are really playing with nuclear hellfire. And I've thought about in the last few months going ahead and saying this, and I think the Russians and the Chinese already know this. He's not putting on a guy that's gone to another level act to intimidate people and stuff. It's 100%. People messed with him too much. They screwed with him too hard.
I love this. It's so funny to see Alex try and be like, oh, you fucked with the wrong president. It's like, did they? Because he still came out being an fat little bitch who gets offended at everything. Like, oh, this big tough berserker man, he survived getting shot. It's like, I don't know, still kind of a bitch. Still kind of, I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think, chat, what do we think? Are we done with this? I'm kind of done. Can I done with this? Or am I a slave but to the will of the people? Vox populi, vox dei. You can done? Okay, thank you, Kiwi TP. So, let me see if I can find that on YouTube real quick. Oh, man. The Hate Church is live right now. Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess let's watch the full fucking thing.
Democrats dumping more gas on the anti-ICE fire. They started
dumping more gas on the anti-ICE fire. So, at this point, it is not a particularly scathing observation to say that Fox News is basically state media. Everybody at Fox News wishes to stay in the good graces of the Trump administration, especially seeing now that there's a literal Fox News to administration pipeline. Like, the place we're at is fucking crazy, and don't put it past them to try and they will lie, not just to save themselves, but for advancement at this point. That being said, as part of their newly constructed appointment as essentially state-run media, Fox News has done its damnedest to constantly talk about it. They constantly spread the basic lies that you see your family talking about on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch. Where sorry, there's a fucking loud ass bird. Weird. And sorry, there's a loud, yeah, you can hear that. That's crazy. It is. It must be like right outside my window. Fox News. I forgot bird. Why did bird? CIA bird gun. Does their audience know what a double entendre is? I doubt it. They probably say menage a trois, menage a trois. It is so Fox News coded to continue spreading these. They are the genesis, the proto-genesis, the primordial ooze from which all the bullshit about the Democrats and Soros sending in buses of Antifa, like they are the formless molecular sludge that all of those animals that we have to deal with because people live in their own realities that they think that shit is real now. So, which is why you get, like, I've had to deal with it on the protest video. For those who don't remember, go watch my video on the protests in LA where I went down there for 5 days, including on No King's Day. I got kettled, I got shot at, I got I didn't get pepper sprayed. I did get tear gassed, and I got fucking flash fucking banged to my face. And the entire time I saw nothing but police escalation and peaceful protest. Yet the narrative, I have had people in my comment section on that video calling me a Democrat operative, saying that I've had people saying that, actually, no, it's the CCP who was paying those protesters. And when I'm on the ground interviewing shop owners, I was on the ground interviewing random fucking people on the street. I was on the ground interviewing, asking people, "Hey, where'd you get this water?" And every single person would be like, "I bought it." Because they didn't understand how fucking insane it was for people to think that the Chinese Communist Party is bankrolling anti-ICE protests. So it's important to remember that the genesis of those narratives can be traced back for a lot of people, especially as you get into more Gen S, more into boomers, can be traced back to places like Fox News, places like The Five, people like Greg Gutfeld. And I want you to keep that in mind when we watch this, because the reason that ICE are often regarded as Nazis or a Nazi analog or Nazi adjacent isn't because the Dems, the Libs, they'll call anybody Nazi. It's because they're operating with impunity. They're operating with next to no accountability, next to no oversight, next to no actual rules and regulations that are keeping them in check. They are trampling on the rights of random civilians. They are backed up by the state. They are being employed directly against the enemies of the state in some cases, including arresting senators, including arresting mayoral candidates. Brad Lander, Padilla, I forget his name. First, Chris Padilla? It was Padilla. Last name Padilla. So the idea that, they'll just call anybody Nazi. It's like, no. It is because ICE bears a startling historical resemblance, particularly to the Gestapo, to the German secret police, to brown shirts, to any masked, ominous muscle that is sent out to crush opposition with little or no oversight, when all that matters to those in power is getting the job done. That is what ICE is. That is what they represent. They are a stain upon America in a way that not even the worst police departments in America are. Because you could believe for a moment, you could be naive enough to plausibly believe that a police department is there to serve and protect. You could grow up in a perfect world where you actually think that, yeah, that's what most police officers are, good people. And most police officers, well, by golly gee, they want to just help people. And, they're just like in the Spider-Man comics I read growing up, where he was always helping the police officers. And that's not the fucking truth. But through various strands running through our simulacra, we can accept that narrative. You can be led to earnestly, honestly accept that. More people need to understand that. But with ICE, there is no point aside from inflicting cruelty and pain on total strangers, often people who are not criminals, but who are just trying to live their lives. Oftentimes, as we've continued to see, are people who are in the process of being naturalized. But because Fox News has been, by the way, they've played an integral part in this entire machine. They've been the ones parroting for years and years and years the bullshit about 5 million illegal immigrants are currently coming for our border. Oh, the Joe Biden let in millions and millions, just caravans of illegal immigrants. That, again, when these stories don't materialize, when it turns out to not be the facts behind something, Fox News will just shuffle it away as soon as it came, because they've done the part that they play in the machine, which is to get the audience riled up, get people angry so that they'll fucking carry signs and put on bumper stickers and pay for fucking coffee mugs and shit, so that they'll buy, fucking Sean Hannity or Tucker's next book at a Costco or at an airport. That's their job. And they, oddly enough, like ICE, have operated with total impunity. Jason Kelly, what is Lamb Chop? Lamb Chop's a Baphomet. Lamb Chop's a little baffy. So yeah, I want you to keep all of that in mind as we go through, because Greg Gutfeld Greg Gutfeld is a guy that really tries to be funny. And I believe, if there's one thing about Gutfeld, I genuinely believe he thinks he's funny. I think that is true. I'm going to let his performance here speak for itself, though.
Agents face an 830% spike in violent attacks. The Rhode Island Democratic state rep just called border agents, quote, Nazi Gestapo thugs, following an operation that resulted in the arrest of a known MS-13 gang member. Great.
Again, another thing we straight, like, let alone the fact that it's coming from Fox News. Straight up cannot believe anything the administration says, and if they are parroting, which they very likely are, just parroting the talking points they've been given from the administration, like they do usually, we know, for example, remember Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was sent to the El Salvador prison that we're exporting people to, who Trump said, oh, he's got MS-13 tattoos, and tattoo experts, gang experts, all these people came out and said, like, nah, he doesn't. Like, you're going to just take people at their word? I don't fucking think so. Like, I literally, it's the same thing with Brianna Wu, you know, where it's like, and I hate to bring her up right now, but at a certain point when I was investigating Brianna, when I was going through the piece, when I was putting it all together, there came a point where I just couldn't even look at her tweets, where she would say, oh, I just talked to a lady on the street about this. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Nah. Like, at a certain point, functionally, it doesn't matter if it's true. If you did talk to this person on the street, because I know for a fact how many other times you've lied in the exact same fashion about the exact same type of shit. So, like, I don't really care if you now are deciding to tell the truth, which is almost certainly, again, not what's happening here. Tommy Tallarico, Event Horizon.
And the Looney Tunes over at MSNBC are freaking out over alligator Alcatraz, but they can't decide which Nazi smear to use. Watch.
I don't know who this smug... Chat, what's the over-under on calling someone a see you next Tuesday? How are we feeling about the C word? Because this fucking smug melted Lisa Ann is driving me up a goddamn wall. Like, if you took a wax sculpture of Lisa Ann and left it in a Value Village parking lot and then dressed it in Value Village clothes, that's what you got right here. And yeah, the idea, again, of trying to downplay alligator Alcatraz when it is, you put these photos in black and white, they could one-to-one be something from the fucking Holocaust. Like I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine having such a lack of humanity as to joke smugly about people. Like, yeah, sorry, she's a cunt. It's okay if you say it with an Aussie accent. Sorry, I know that was bad. I know that was bad. I'm sorry. That was terrible.
That is traditionally called a concentration camp or an internment camp.
It is.
And I wonder about your specificity in using that language.
Well, sure as hell I'm not going to use what they're calling it. They want to ethnically cleanse this country of certain types of immigrants. Because when I was in that internment camp in the Everglades, I didn't see any Europeans who overstayed their visa. I saw...
So they are trying to play this off as like, well, is it like, they are trying to play this off between internment camp or concentration camp. They are really... I can't believe this. I am so glad. I'm so glad I actually sat to watch the full video, because this is crazy. They are really trying to draw a line of distinction. They're like, well, you dumb Looney Tune liberals. What is it? Is it a concentration camp or an internment camp? You can't even make up your mind. Fucking dumb dummies. You're so stupid. You can't even say which one it is. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you
Nothing but Latino men and Haitian men.
Uniball, thank you for $5. Being a welder, I'm probably biased, but who genuinely gives a shit about the C word? Bro, eat a teaspoon of cement already. People are in camps. I would agree with you, but I think, here's the thing. I think the word cunt is, it's normalized for me. Growing up, and I think this has changed over time a little bit. Growing up, it was always held in such a place of like profane reverence in a way, if that makes sense. Like it was held up even above the F word, even above fuck, is like a, whoa, that's like, I can't, as something you don't ever say. And I think that's a uniquely American perspective for reasons I'm not quite sure, because we got the word from Britain, so did Aussies, so did New Zealanders, but like I don't know why we just I don't understand why it's always been such a like oh fuck, like that's the one you bring out. Yeah, I've never gotten it. Yeah, no, I hope everybody, by the way, the Lisa Ann comparison, I won't look it up for reasons, but go on your phone right now, just look up pictures of Lisa Ann's face, and I'm so right. I need you all to do it to know how right I am in this particular instance. Melted wax sculpture of Lisa Ann on Fox News. I'm so real for that. It's because white women wanted their own N-word. Oh, you're so right, unfortunately. You're so right. OMFG, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't fucking miss. I don't miss. Sorry.
And if that wasn't deranged enough, the media is doling out tips on how illegals can stand their ground against masked ICE agents.
How do you put that smarmy fucking inflection? Like, do you literally have earplugs in? Do you not hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? The media is giving people tips on how to stand their ground against masked ICE agents. Like the TV commercials in RoboCop would call bullshit on this. You don't hear the words you're saying. Fox News, the place that forever has been, you should totally be able to stand your ground. Yeah, actually, I think it's really cool if you have guns and you can stand your ground. That's actually really cool. And all of a sudden, like, an immigrant stands their ground against masked, completely unaccountable ICE agents, which, by the way, part of this unaccountability, as I've talked about before, when you get into things like Alligator Alcatraz and these other internment camps that they're putting people into, the unaccountability that is seeing people ripped out of communities and neighborhoods to the point where kids aren't even able to go home to their parents. And overnight, sometimes they are sent on planes out of the country to countries they don't even know, that they're not even originally from. And in between those time frames, how much opportunity do you think there is for those people to be trafficked, sexually abused, raped, murdered, killed? Because guess what? Right now, ICE is operating with almost total impunity. There are no safeguards or guardrails to ensure any of that horrible shit isn't happening. Which, do you know what that means in America? It's happening. And these smarmy, I'm going to say it, cunts want to sit here on Fox News and act like, oh, these silly liberal Democrats. Is it an internment camp? Is it an internment camp or is it a concentration camp? Is it internment camp? Oh, did we make a little internment camp? They're trying to give tips for people to defend themselves from the masked, unaccountable government agents, and they're calling them the Gestapo. Can you believe that? Oh, these fuckers. You know what? I was on a downward trend. I'm back up. Violet Values, thank you for 200. As a person that isn't from the USA, I feel that the growing fascism and violent police also happens in countries where presidents support Trump. Yeah. Here, recent protests were met with brutal police violence, even if it was peaceful. Look, these assholes run together. Like, there is a reason why Malay and Erdogan and Putin and fucking... There's a reason why Trump got along with Kim Jong-un. Like, go and look at, say what you want about Obama, and I fucking will. But he had the charisma and strength and fortitude to fucking stare down Putin. Putin knew Obama wasn't to be fucked with. Putin doesn't give a shit about Trump, but Trump has said as much recently. Like, yeah.
When you're masked like that and people don't know who you are, someone might exercise their lawful right of self-defense to protect themselves, thinking they're being kidnapped.
It's because we've already had people in masks who claim to be ICE agents try and abduct and rob people. We've already had that happen. Because guess what? You say you're ICE. Okay, what if you... All right, I want you to consider this for a moment. And this is why everybody should be brushing up on this, by the way. Doesn't matter what nationality you are. Because we know through things like fucking, watching TV shows, watching propaganda, all this stuff, you know your Miranda rights. You're supposed to be read your Miranda rights. If you're not, that is a breach. You are entitled to one call from your lawyer and shit. Like, you know the basics, the underpinnings of every Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, cop movie, any TV show you've ever seen, right? What's the protocol if you are stopped or detained by ICE? Do you, as an American, know that? Do you, as an American, are you aware what you need to do, the steps you need to take to get out of ICE custody? Are you aware of the things that you are allowed to document? Who you're allowed to call? These are things that people are relying on you not knowing to hurt you.
So the notion that this is for law enforcement's protection is utterly ludicrous, and we need to do away with that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, by the way. If you are law enforcement, I'm sorry, you're breaking up families and you're afraid that people are going to find out where your family is. You're afraid that people are going to know what fucking Marriott hotel you're staying in while you're enacting concentration camps in American borders. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Every ICE agent, just like every police officer, every SWAT officer, should have a name and a badge number that you can look up publicly. The people who have been given, especially by conservatives, ultimate control over civilian life and death. According to Trump, unquestioning control, by the way. He wants police to be able to go into and do whatever they need to do. Because back in the day, it didn't used to be like this. All that bullshit. If a cop on a street thinks they see you walking towards them with a gun. It doesn't matter if it's your house keys. It doesn't matter if you're pulling your phone out of your pocket. They can claim, because of conservatives, that they are entirely justified in murdering you. Oh, I thought they had a gun. Okay, well, enough said. We've seen cops get off on similarly shitty grounds time and time fucking again. And the only times there are genuine consequences, or at least social consequences, the only times there are these intense riots, like George Floyd, like Rodney King, is when they are scrutinized through the lens of a camera, when modern technology has given us the ability to be there as these things are happening, see it with our own eyes, witness it in an unavoidable way. So you can't help but ask yourself, multiply that times every traffic stop, every person in America who is harassed or brutalized or assaulted by a law enforcement officer and doesn't have the money, the economic reality, the ability to seek out legal counsel, who are afraid for themselves. This is the responsibility, the authority, the gravity of the United States police, and that's just the fucking police. And if you want to sit there and tell me that at the very minimum, they shouldn't have their names and faces known and easily accessible to the public, then you know what? I don't think they deserve that power. Like maybe I'm just too fucking Marvel-brained. Maybe I deeply do believe, maybe I was fucking indoctrinated as a child by Spider-Man, that if you have power that you wield over others, you need to meter it with responsibility. Like, I realize that is far too idealistic for modern American conservatism, but that was the idealism I was brought up to believe. Is that the shit my family believes? No, not really. They kind of chicken out on that shit. But that's what I believe. It goes hand in hand with, like, yeah, I think people should be able to have guns, firearms. I know that makes me a bad person on the left sometimes, but I do believe in community defense. And the more and more people out there who want to hurt and kill you, who are being egged on and encouraged by the current administration and the political climate, I think they should be able to defend against that. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're queer. I don't care if you're illegal. If you're in this country, if we're going to have a free fire zone of a country, which, again, this is what lobbyists, this is what politicians, Democrats, Republicans have allowed to happen. We are in a free fire zone of a country. And if that's the Wild West, well, the great American cowboy life we want to live, guess what? Everybody should have a gun. I don't like it. I would like there to not be that. But we also need accountability. We need to have, what we should have is like fucking Japanese gun laws. Look. Japan, a lot of fucking problems. At a social level, at a political level. Woof. Oof. Oofta. The gun laws in Japan, because Japanese civilians can't have guns for hunting, in rare cases for self-defense. Gun laws are so good in Japan. You have to register with your local police. They keep your name on a list. You have to know exactly not only where the gun is held, where maintenance gear is held, where ammo is being kept. You have to log all of that shit. The police come at a regular, like, interval. I don't remember how often it is. It's like once a month or so. It's something pretty stringent. To check and see the amount of ammo, if the gun's been fired. If you go out with the intent of firing a gun, you have to register. You have to log it in. If you go, okay, I'm going to go, outside and go deer hunting. Versus here. It's crazy. Crazy. Do not the deer. I'm just saying if somebody wanted to. Ma, thank you for $5. I'd be willing to bet the majority of ICE impersonators kidnapping people are just off duty knowing they can't be identified. We won't know. There's no way for us to know is the problem. We won't know.
They've really raised their standards of attractiveness over there at MSNBC.
Yeah, oh God. Somebody saying, Shy Miller, same here in Russia, you got to get a license and store it in line with specs. I don't understand. Like somebody asking, why are Americans so obsessed with guns? Fucking, I don't know, dude. It's part of the I'm working on a more analytical kind of philosophical video essay right now that I'm excited to get out because I have some like outfits and stuff I'm gonna do for it. So I'm gonna try and put a little bit more like production value into it. But it digs very heavily into this idea of like American identity as it is advertised to us and how that advertisement is just accepted as what American identity actually is, even though it's not really. Like one example would be the idea of the cowboy, the archetypical American cowboy. And when you think cowboy, you probably, like a lot of people, think Clint Eastwood or John Wayne or any other number of Technicolor 60s high Lone Ranger type shit. And High Plains Drifters were what I was reaching for there. High Plains Drifter, Lone Ranger, all that shit. The reality is that being a cowboy was not a glamorous, cool life. That it was fraught with danger and disease and starvation and loneliness and also gays and not like a lot less white people than you've been led to believe. And that has constructed this unreality, or as Baudrillard would say, constructed a hyper-reality where we believe the fake things, the copies, more than the actual originals, which were, the evidenced fact. But these things that have been passed down so much through time, this is where why I'm bringing up Baudrillard, because of Baudrillard's idea of simulation and simulacra is like the perfect encapsulation. I've looked into some of the other like some of the stuff that influenced Baudrillard, like Debord and Horkheimer and the other dude who was with Horkheimer. I forget his name right now, but yeah, there's a lot of like consumerist, it's mostly Marxist theory that puts into perspective how these things influence us, influence our thought processes. Also kind of puts into perspective why people don't like, these are neoliberal, neo-Marxist, postmodernists, when like all those cats kind of were on to shit. Like they kind of got it right. They kind of nailed it down pretty good. Anyway, we've gotten off topic a little bit.
Woo! That was quite a panel. So, Dana, there's one group, the Save America movement, that is raising hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach people how to stalk ICE agents. And we've seen that violence against ICE agents is up over 830%.
Right. So this week we came back from the weekend and we were talking about this still. Why? Because the Democrats are perpetuating the issue. And
Why? Because the Democrats are perpetuating the issue. Nar, baby girl. You latest model to come up. Well, not latest, but latest one I've seen to come off of the fucking Fox News blonde woman mold assembly line. It's not because, like, well, it's the Democrats, actually. It's because ICE agents are abducting people from their fucking communities. It's really not that hard to understand. And I know they understand that. I know they have to. In some way, at some point, they have to. They have to. Odie Ball, thank you for $5. Hi again. Being a black man in Idaho, I can tell you part of the gun obsession comes from a fear of minority uprisings. They froth at the mouth for it. I think that is a uniquely Idaho thing, honestly. Not that there aren't other places in the country that do similar shit, but, like, I do think, like, there is a very racist culture to Northern Idaho in particular. Why do all of Fox's female anchors look like they were made in a lab? This is the ghost of Rupert Murdoch haunts the halls. A wine guzzler. No, this is a woman who for sure has a sign hanging in her kitchen that says it's wine o'clock somewhere. For sure. She absolutely has a novelty gift mug that somebody gave her that says, "Don't talk to me until I've had my morning wine."
Is continuing to do its job, and it has the legal backing to do it. But you have ICE agents. They're asking them not to wear masks, but then the headlines are Antifa targets ICE agents at their homes. So what is an ICE agent supposed to do, especially, let's say, that your wife is saying, excuse me, we've got 3 children here, we have to protect them. And if they're willing to do this, remember, last week, the Democrats...
Again, oh, look at these people. There's a moment in... Okay, I'm not going to... No spoilers for the new Superman, obviously. But there is a moment in the new Superman, and this is stuff that's been in the trailer, so again, I'm not spoiling anything. There's a moment where they have... Because a lot of the movie centers around this geopolitical conflict between 2 fictionalized countries. And one side very clearly outweighs, outguns, outmans the other. It is very cut and dry. These are the bad guys. They're going to shoot these unarmed farmers. And when it cuts over to the farmers, it's very clear to the audience that these are poor-ass starving farmers who are about to be fucking bulldozed through no fault of their own. And they don't even have guns. They got rocks, they got sticks. It's very heavy-handed. But that's exactly what I feel looking at this. You are telling me that you just gave billions with a B to ICE, and you're afraid of some kids on the road throwing rocks at their reinforced cars. Ooh. You are telling me that, well, ICE agents, they're just doing their jobs. When they're going into fucking kindergarten classes, when they're going into fucking schools, when they're going and abducting women and children and men and people just looking for a job and people who are members of the community and people who are on their way to legalization, when they are abducting them literally from naturalization appointments. And you're saying, well, it's not fair to go, and you can't go to ICE agents' homes, and they're so afraid because they're just the woo babies. Fuck off.
Democrats anonymously told Axios that they were recommending someone get shot in order to perpetuate the storyline. The other thing is, I'm not exactly sure about that group, but other groups like the Democrat Project, they spend all sorts of time and effort to try to get taxpayer dollars that they can then funnel into causes that they care about. They do this on education and DEI. They've done it on immigration. They do it with the teachers unions. They did it on the trans surgery stuff and the crazy opera that we heard about in Colombia. So all of those things are happening at the time when the Democrats are, I think, completely wasting their time on the immigration issue that should matter to them.
Yes.
Like, do they want to go and save the people at Alligator Alcatraz, or do they want to save the Dreamers? Pick one, right? And go as a group and say, Mr. President, can we see you for a second?
Neither of them. You like, this faux civility bullshit is so rich coming from these absolute bog wretches. The idea that you're gonna go to Trump and be like, oh, Mr. President, with like fucking hat in hand, like Jimmy Stewart, like, well, Mr. President, if you just listen, see, we can work together, see, we can give the Dreamers a chance in America, see, like, fuck off with this bullshit. They know they are lying, and they're just lying through their fucking teeth. I hate it so much.
Really messed up in 2017. We should have worked with you on that. We'd like to now, and see if he's willing to do it, and he might.
See if. Yeah, maybe he'll work with you. Like, if you don't like the concentration camp, go to Trump, and maybe he'll work with the Democrats. Maybe he'll work with you. Are you so fucking for real right now? Are you so fucking for real?
Might be. And that way they could change the subject from defending Alligator Alcatraz detainees.
Well, they have to do something, because Democrats, as we pointed out in the last segment, they are underwater in the polling. I don't think immigration is necessarily helping them. I also don't think that one of the most visible mouthpieces of leftist causes, Rachel Maddow, calling prisons concentration camps. First of all, it's not appropriate. Second of all,
it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. You are putting dozens and dozens of people in tents in a facility that recently easily flooded in the middle of the fucking Everglades. You're selling merch about it. The fuck are you talking about?
It's incredibly offensive to Holocaust survivors and their families.
You're right.
Many of whom.
Yeah, I love
to be
famous
Democrat
leftist Rachel
I agree
Maddow.
with you. I think that, Dana, and you're saying it well, Democrats' unbelievable focus on the worst is distorting any kind of ability to get to a broader, smarter immigration policy. And it's completely distracting us from the issue that is dominating politics today, which is affordability. If you look at all the races around the country and look at the races over the last year, special elections, the last 6 months since President Trump's been in office, they've been defined largely by cultural issues and economic issues. We are wrong on a lot of this, the transgender sports issues, which we've got to get right on for people to even listen to us, let alone take us seriously.
Oh, is this the turncoat Democrat they have on? Oh, this must be a friend of Brianna Wu. Yeah, who insists like, oh no, the left they're so crazy and they're pulling us. Oh, they're just, I wish I didn't have to go further to the right. You're just, you keep pushing me further. It's that fucking meme. It's the meme. It's the meme of the dude getting a swastika tattoo. It's a shame, really. It's that.
On the issues that matter to their wallets and pocketbooks, and then get to talking about affordability and what we're going to do differently. Greg laid out a litany, enumerated 3 or 4 things where President Trump, there's an opening. And instead of not capitalizing, but offering answers, we're throwing flames on an issue that the president has an enormous amount of support for. Now, having said that, what the president's struggling with, Kennedy, I think is...
The idea that a Democrat is out here like, well, no, it's actually really popular. The concentration camp, he has a lot of support for that. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking gourd, dude?
Trying to figure out, what are we trying to get accomplished with our immigration policies? We know we want to get the worst out of here first. We know we want to clamp down our border, and he's done an excellent job at that. But now we're trying to figure out, and I keep saying this over and over and over again because I think it's true, what is the hierarchy that we're trying to get to when we talk about deportations? There are people who've been in this country, who have lived in this country, who've worked in this country, who are entrenched in this country in so many ways and are important to our daily
lying
lives
through your
as everyday
fucking
Americans
teeth on that
who
shit.
we're now deporting. And the question is that the group, are these the people we want to deport? That's where Democrats ought to be asking the question.
The ones who have been breaking into our country. And if there are some Serbians that have expired visas.
Okay, so they didn't even talk about the Gutfeld section wasn't even on this. Fuck, man. All right. So, this part was also, I believe, part of that segment. This happened yesterday. So did that one.
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis. Nazi this, Nazi that. You know, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able...
First off, Greg, don't let me give you too many notes here. The idea of saying, well, we need to learn from the blacks. Kiwi TB didn't like how he said that. Yeah, no, he put a inflection on that came a little bit too naturally for him. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say anybody from his generation who still says the blacks, at the very least raised by intensely racist people. Like, black people. Black people. You say black people. You can say somebody's black. You can say, oh, that's a black person. This is a black man. That's a black woman. That's not an offensive way to say it. The blacks? It's dehumanizing is what it is. It's subtle, but it is.
To remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi?
Okay. So, couple of things here. Conservatives, especially after everything we've talked about and that they're currently doing with ICE, conservatives being called Nazis is not a slur. It is certainly not a racial slur, and it is certainly not on the level of social reclamation as the N-word, where that word is taken on a different meaning in black communities. It is used in a different way among black people. It is socially different because that's how language works and evolves over time. Like, these are observable social phenomena that have worked upon this. And I realize he's attempting, I think, to make a joke out of this. But the problem is that his viewership is going to take it as a valid point. And coming to a Facebook aunt, uncle comment section near you will be people who unironically are arguing for shit like this. So what you get, it is not the same, by the way, as reclaiming the N-word, because again, this is the classic John Mulaney joke, where it's, well, you can't say midget because that's as bad as the N-word. First of all, no. If you're saying two words and you won't say one of those words, then that's the worst word, as John Mulaney roughly put it. Now, there's that. Then there's also the other way that it's meant, where there are still Nazis, Greg. You can go on Elon's Twitter and just look around the corner, take it in. Just Nazis, actual Nazis. There are still people who ascribe themselves to that ideology, to racism, to eugenics. Now, I'm not saying they're smart. I'm not saying they have a lot of legitimate push. but they have more of a place in American politics and discourse than anybody should be really comfortable with. So even saying, like, you know what, fine, we should just call ourselves Nazis, is a level of normalization towards that ideology that it is so hysterical that this is the same stage where they just said, well, this is offensive to Holocaust victims. That's the same broadcast as this. Was the lady saying, well, first off, you can't call it a concentration camp because that's offensive to people who went through the Holocaust. Then what the fuck is this, lady?
Hey, what up, my Nazi? Hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there. What does it tell you, though? This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us.
Wow. Wow. Dude, Nazi, please. Nazi, please. Look, I'm not gonna say that they all definitely use the N-word in private. I'm not gonna say that they absolutely heard one black person maybe say those sentences once and have been joking about it ever since in private amongst themselves in very white rooms. But I am sure going to think it. Because the way those phrases, despite the switching up the word, the way those phrases rolled off the tongue, Yeah, sorry. A white girl named Kennedy who works at Fox News. Oh, might be racist. Also, water, wet. Fork found in kitchen. More at 11. Whew, how are we feeling, chat? How are we? Man. If you can believe it, I know we've had a, it's been a long one. I feel like I've been sitting here for 10 years. Husked out from all that stupidity. I desire violence, mother. Tristan Lofting, I've been told I can't take a joke because I got upset at my cousin saying racist jokes in their parents' kitchen in the 90s. I was sickeningly offended and got angry at them. Hey, guess what? Not all jokes are meant to be taken. Sometimes there's fucking bad jokes. Yeah, Noki Met, this is literally something you'd hear off a Hard Right podcast, the fact that it's a news station getting away with this. It is, again, I think Greg talking like that, as in like this acquiescing, even in a joke, which is I'm sure what he would say. Even as a joke, it is giving space and giving room to the aesthetics, the names, the touchstones of this racist, abhorrent ideology. It is giving room to it. It's one of the reasons why I've never been, because there are people who are like, oh, well, this thing, you know, Nazis are part of this fandom, or like, this is a Nazi haircut, or this is like Nazis wear this, or like this is a white supremacist this. It's like, no. Unless it has a fucking swastika or Hitler on it, don't let anybody else fucking have it. Do not cede an inch of ground. Do not, if you enjoy a video game and you're like, yeah, but there's a lot of, if you enjoy fucking Warhammer and you're like, I don't know, there's a lot of fucking Nazis here. Enjoy Warhammer. Paint your fucking transgender minis. Fuck them. Don't let these fucking dipshits have anything. They do not get to have anything. Now, we've seen a lot of bad takes today, right? I'm glad we've had a moment to see them together, chat. This one might take the bad take cake.
Dudes, well, this is something that happens primarily to women. Like, obviously things like this happen to men and women, but this is definitely something where it's like 95, 98% of like this type of dynamic.
Why is so much progressive storytelling morally rotten? Okay, let me see if I can go find this actual video. Because so one of the things, as I've been writing this essay and, you know, talking about Baudrillard and Debord's philosophies and the links to like Marxism and postmodernism and all that shit, is you start getting into more and more circles of modern philosophy in which you get a lot of cool kids, and by cool kids I mean uncool kids, who think that it's actually cooler to disagree with it, like Jordan Peterson types, where they're like, well, actually, this is not the philosophy of the soul, is the quest for reason and the dragon's lair. You get that dumb bullshit because they're like, well, I don't like the idea of postmodernism and postmodern thought as a framework, even though it's like the idea that there are multiple systems working upon us at all time and that nothing is innate and that our reality is like, you can look outside. You can look outside and see that, like, hey, the postmodernists were fucking right. And we kind of have to go from that vantage point. But there are so many people who want a more simplified version of the world. And would you believe it? The simple ones are usually pretty fucking conservative. So it's always funny to me when I come across, like, conservative talks about philosophy or art, because it comes from this perspective of, well, these things actually should be dumber, basically, is what their argument comes down to. It's actually, this stuff should be stupider. They'll phrase it in different ways of like, well, actually, because it's not all cynical and it's not postmodern, it's not this, that, like, not everything has to have a theme, and sometimes there's, you know, you could stick to there's these classic archetypes that we pass down for a reason. It was what Alex Jones was just talking about. We was talking about, there are these archetypes that have been passed down through history and all this other bullshit. That's, I'm willing to bet, what Asmon, this do I want TV clips? I don't know. He puts out so many fucking clips. His profile picture really super 10,000% does need a punch. Genuinely one of the most punchable faces in the game. Genuinely. I mean that. This is going into history. Like, okay. Chat, I can tell y'all, as somebody who does YouTube content, 14 hours ago, 1.1 million. One day ago, 994, 1.2 million, 1.1 million, 1.2 million, 1.2 million, 1.2 million, 1.5 million, 1.4. The dude has fucking money. I can tell that to you. He is making fucking bank on this bullshit. No one saw this coming. This should be like defamatory using pictures like this, by the way. Christ alive. God, I didn't realize how fucking bad and vapid he'd gotten. Okay, so this is the clip. I woke up to this.
You got this girl right here crashing out. Well, this is something that happens primarily to women.
Okay, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not watching him react to himself reacting to something. Fuck that. Fuck you, you stupid. Oh, you're
is experienced by women. Men age better. Well, men's value isn't necessarily only like. I would say, like, if you're thinking about like what if you're trying to compliment a man, I think that attractiveness or appearance might be in your top 3. If you're trying to compliment a woman, attractiveness and appearance is probably your top 3. That's just how it is.
Retractiveness. Attractiveness and appearance being in your top 3 means that you as a man, like what he is trying to say here is that, oh, women are just, they're so much more superficial. They're so much more, their value is put so much more in their beauty and attractiveness and appearance. What he is revealing about himself, however, in that is that he is the vapid, appearance-obsessed one. Yeah. Says single man. You don't have bitches, dude. You don't get bitches. You don't have bitches. You don't get to say this unless you have somebody on your arm. Because let me tell you, as somebody who has had successful and good relationships, and bad ones, everybody has, as somebody who is in a good, successful, loving relationship, yeah, people like being complimented on their appearance, but people are also more than their appearance. If you have a relationship and the only thing, the top whole 3 things you compliment somebody on are all based on their appearance, people would get really fucking tired of that. What kind of bond does that speak to? If those are the things that you focus on somebody. Like, I understand that Asmon is a slug man. I understand that despite everybody's best efforts, quite literally like a cockroach, he has created in his home an environment where he, much like Nick Bluetooth in the hit television show Galador, will take on the characteristics of creatures around him to gain new abilities. One of those creatures and abilities is the hardiness of a cockroach. Right? I am glad, I am happy somebody appreciated my deep Galador cut. Yeah, Grand Theft Autobot, appearance might help with the initial attraction, but after that, exactly. Like, you can't... That's not enough of a relationship. And I understand... Hang on. Sorry, I'm getting sniffly again. I understand that, like, in the terminally online world where Asmon is not going to industry events, he is not fucking, you know, he could, but this lazy motherfucker just stays home and plays video games all day. He doesn't have a actual life to judge. So the idea, it's on one hand, it's actually quite hilarious that people are asking him about, like, life experience, considering I don't think he has much of any. On the other hand, he lives in this terminally online bubble where there are these narratives. It is literally these incel narratives about, like, what women are, how they appear, what they want, and what men want. And naturally, it's the same type of shit that's been filtered through all of this right-wing ideology, where you have people like even Alex Jones, who was talking earlier about, like, this, you know, God-given innate berserker alpha male masculine energy. It's like, fucking, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Like, they want so badly to believe this shit because it threatens to give purpose to their otherwise aimless lives. It threatens, for the rest of us, that they might actually be something more than Asmongold's case. Somebody sitting behind a computer screen, a screen that for him has become a window where he watches the world flow by him. And he seeks only for everything outside the window to be entertaining. He essentially wants, I talked about this earlier, what he essentially, I had this, I would call it a revelation. I had this realization watching somebody's art, which was a shitty AI generated, like, random type video. I posted about it on Twitter, where I retweeted it and said, like, it's never been more clear to me how many people would find genuine fulfillment, would find genuine appreciation and meaning and purpose and entertainment in the random neurons firing before death, in just the most random neural impulses going off all around you all the time. That's the, like, it is these people, at one point their brain or their cognition regressed to them craving the what's the thing above a baby's crib? The dingle dongle with the moon and the stars and that shit. Mobile, thank you. Like they crave that just simple lizard brain pattern shape recognition, but down to literal just moving shapes and shit. And it's people like him. It is people like Asmongold. People like him who can watch these malformed abominations of human creativity. Like that fucking, he had that when the Ghibli fucking filter came out. He was talking about, like, yeah, no, actually, yeah, if you're an artist or a designer, or if you're a chat, you need to find a new job because you're about to be out of a job. Oh, this is so crazy. Yeah, that's actually true. Chat, that's actually true. Fuck this guy. Okay, we're not even done with this video.
So that's the difference. Like, yeah, I mean, you just did a big save, did I? I don't even know what I said. But anyway, yeah, biological value.
Yeah, no shit. I don't even know what I said. I'm not surprised.
Is probably your top 3. That's just how it is. So that's the difference. Like, yeah, I mean, you just did a big save, did I? I don't even know what I said. But anyway, yeah, biological value to create human offspring. Exactly. Like that's a lot of women's, like, women have like an intrinsic innate value because they can have kids.
Fuck, dude. Fuck, dude. Oh man, that's okay. I need to actually turn that off. I'll do that later. I've said that for the last week. Women have innate value because they can have kids. What he's getting at, again, it is this. You can trace this kind of thinking directly back, by the way, to eugenics. You can trace it back to literal Nazi ideology, literal might is right type shit, where you are breaking down humans to animalistic functions, which, again, it goes back to this trying to deconstruct human psychology and the modern world into this pre-modern framework, and it doesn't fucking work. It is simpler to think like that. It is simpler to believe that the world still works that way. It does simplify everything. And you see people like Andrew Tate, you see people like their followers who like thrive on that simplicity. They are able to take advantage of other people buying into that simplicity. They are able to sell you the idea that there are things like alphas and betas, and you want to be an alpha because alphas get all the chicks, and alphas have cool cars, and they got lots of money, and you go, oh, they're so cool, look at them. And then, oh, little betas, they don't get any chicks, and they're just little lip cocks. Blah, blah. And they'll tell you that, oh, yeah, no, I've read Marcus Aurelius, and I drive my Bugatti, and I've read blah, blah, blah. It's the thing that gets me about when I bring up Marcus Aurelius, because that's one that I was working on a video that didn't go anywhere, but I was looking at, like, what are the books that all of these dorks like recommend reading, and what do they actually say? Because it was inspired by, I had read Nietzsche, and I had just read Thus Spake Zarathustra, and I read Beyond Good and Evil. And the thing with Beyond Good and Evil is that the idea of a Untermensch, the Superman, the ultimate man, has very little, in Nietzsche, who came up with this idea philosophically, has very little to do with like physical perfection, and more to do with untethering yourself from being unbound by what has been, so to speak. And so it is so, like, it's just this kind of biological essentialism ties into all that shit, right? Where it comes down to, like, you are breaking the idea of a person, of all this stuff, of conscience, of cognizance, of every aspect of personhood which society works upon. Like, the idea of no man is an island is because as much as you want to be just a stoic badass, you just want to be your fucking chiseled Chad image, you're not. Like, nobody is. And again, it's if you ever want to really think about, well, why do they hate postmodern thought so much, is because postmodern thought kind of disproves this kind of thinking. Untermensch, roughly translated to bottom, is the superior form trap. Slurple Normal, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. It is Zack Snyder archetype. Yeah, true. It's because the thing about the Ubermensch is that, like, it is the idea of somebody who does not follow anything. Somebody who thinks entirely for themselves. That will be the final stage of human evolution. Somebody who is free, unrestrained, free from the restraints of the systems of morality that are, that Nietzsche saw as governed by mostly by religion, but also by science, by things that he had started to liken to people's faith in religion. And again, has very little to do with physical perfection. The ironic part about it is that all the people who talk about, like, who want to be that by taking Nietzsche at his word, by being like, oh yeah, no, I can do this. It's like, no, you've already fucked up. You've fallen for the trap that Nietzsche's setting, which is to say that if you follow my guide to being a Superman, you are not. Because guess what? There's going to be other people fucking doing the same thing, and that means you are not alone in this system of thought. Which is, I always find, like, kind of darkly funny. Couple weeks ago, Fuser Che, who was the guy DD covered a couple weeks ago, who said unironically that Futanari are the Ubermensch. That shit was funny. So that's actually a perfect example of somebody who doesn't understand shit and just parrots random talking points that they pick up on 4chan or Kiwi Farms, because I am willing to bet Synthetic Man is, if not illiterate, pretty damn close to it. That was Synthetic Man, and that was almost a year ago now. Anyway, how did I get... Oh, yeah. We were talking about innate physical qualities and shit. And this all ties back into that. This all ties back into... And on a similar wavelength, you could consider the flattening of things like conspiracy theories to be on the same wavelength, the same style of thought as this type of shit, where it is like we live in a very, 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 very complicated world where if you consider it a machine of every moving piece being its own person, and every moving piece has its own internal machine and logic working inside of it that every other piece is working upon. It's a very complex world. But through so many things, the overriding... The motivation of so much of modern conservatism is to flatten all meaning and simplify it as much as possible. And we've gotten to this point where they need it to be completely simplified down to the most innate characteristics possible. And I think you can absolutely see that with people like Matt Walsh, which is steadfast. I think that is represented by his steadfast, bizarre fixation with trans people, where it is, I think it comes less from him genuinely hating anybody and more from him quite literally not understanding anything except the most simple, basic dichotomy that he's been presented. Yeah. And I think conspiracies, because we've also talked about how conspiracy is usually just a way to simplify and find a often more exciting but simplified version of reality that can explain things that we all know. They are simple ways of explaining things that are actually much more complicated. It is a lot easier to say, for example, that, okay, no, the deep state is out there and there's a democratic pedophile satanic cabal. Trump's going to go and beat him up, and that is more exciting. That's more of an action movie explanation than we've constructed society to fuck you, Trump voters, over specifically, and they don't care about you. And the Democrats and the Republicans will always consolidate because ultimately money is the true power. Capital is the power of this society, not you. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. Let's finish watching Ass.
And so whenever they're older and they're not able to have kids, or for whatever reason, that's not really as viable, then their biological value goes down in the eyes of a lot of guys. That's it. Yeah, beauty is their whole selling point. Yeah, exactly, right?
Beauty is their whole selling point. Exactly, right? What a deeply disgusting little cretin. I don't really think anything else needs to be said other than that. Yeah, Dale Wilson, my roommate used to explain that QAnon stuff like Trump was a Saturday morning cartoon hero fighting evil. Yeah, it is like the QAnon shit is such a clear look at I am as many people's brains as it absolutely fucking deep fried. At the end of the day, QAnon was still a really good way to exemplify for people how reality has been skewed by this kind of stuff. How reality has been, how, like, again, in a very postmodern sense, how different people are living in different realities now, where your reality is constructed by the simulacra you're taking in. And sorry, I just got done reading a shit ton of that Beaujard stuff and in writing the essay, and I've been working on the essay. So y'all know I am low-key curious if somebody were to go back through all my streams and all my videos, the amount of times I would go like, sorry, this thing is just in the front of my brain, so we're just going to talk about it. Sorry, I just got done reading Nietzsche and Beaujard, so we're just going to talk about it. Sorry, I just got done playing Magic the Gathering, so we're just going to talk about it for 45 minutes. Benjamin Angelo Deutsch. Hello, we just finished watching your documentary on the protests in Los Angeles. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Exceptionally well written. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, it is this idea of, again, an oversimplification of culture, of a very complex thing. This idea of objective beauty, which you get a lot. You hear from people like Jordan Peterson that there is this objective standard of beauty that the West, in particular, that there used to be these Western standards of what we found beautiful and awesome to strive for. And it's like, well, that's never been consistently true. Beauty standards from the West, it's why it's always funny when you see these fucking Roman statue accounts where you have, like, they'll just fucking melange these different time periods and historical concepts together, so you'll get these Nazi return accounts that will be ripping stuff from the West used to be great, and here's here's Marcus Aurelius quotes, here's Viking shit, here's runic script, here's all this stuff that is just kind of broadly, vaguely, quote unquote, white, even though it's not really. Like, there were race wars fought all across those regions. Like, the Romans didn't get along with the barbarians and the Vikings. It's completely incongruous together. But again, it all depends on them flattening, ironing out all of the kinks like that into something that they can get behind, something that is easy to understand. And for them, it is easy to understand the idea that, okay, there used to be, at a point in time that I did not know, I did not live through, and I only have, again, simulacra to see the world through, there was a point in time where things were better for white people. Again, I was not there, didn't live through it, didn't experience it myself, am only experiencing it through usually propaganda from other people, and people will unironically look at that shit and go, yeah, that's definitely, that sounds true to me. Yeah, damn, dude. Chat, I don't know, we might be cooked. We might be cooked. The idea of objective beauty to me is so telling, I think. I think it's telling of a lack of introspection for a lot of people, which isn't surprising from these ding-dongs, that you have this base that don't want to think about their thoughts, right? They don't want to think about, okay, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? I think it's been a large part of the anti-intellectual pushback against things like science, against especially things like science, psychiatry, psychology, where they'll just say, oh, they're just head shrinkers. Oh, they're just in it for the money. They're just grifters. They're just, again, simplified so that they can easily dismiss it. And I think it speaks to a lack of also experience, where when you go out in the world and live yourself and you experience life, you experience other people, other cultures, you experience multiple relationships, you experience love, heartache, loss, all that stuff. Words like beauty take on different definitions in different moments, because ultimately they are far too broad. They can mean too many things in too many moments to too many people to be ever encapsulated. They are shorthand for these beautiful, unknowable experiences that we can have as humans. They are little figments of our imagination that can capture those moments in a way that we can just convey a fragment to one another. Because if you call something beautiful, to me, I have a different idea based on my own experiences of what that actually is. But when I think of something beautiful, to me, that is something that is practically sacred. Or it could just be a pretty skybox in a video game. It could just be, wow, that's a beautiful painting. Or it could be a beautiful moment with a loved one. It could be a moment with somebody who's passed away that I won't get to experience again. That looking back, I think about and I'm like, you know what, that was actually beautiful. And if I call that beauty, to me, that's what beauty means. That means nothing objectively. That's entirely subjective. So I think these ideas of Matt Walsh, when he's like, what does this objectively mean? What does this mean when somebody is objectively doing this? It's like, there is no objectiveness. I understand that's harder to go through the world seeing that way. That shit gets mad confusing. That shit is kind of annoying. But it's true. Yeah, queer cranium, the way I see beauty and attractiveness in one partner will be different in another partner. That's very true. It's like if I have a long-term partner that I find beautiful, but my assessment, I hate to use the term, but to use Asmon's term, my valuing of that beauty is not just aesthetic, because I've been through so much with this person. I've been there for hard episodes. I've been there through some shit that they went through. And I think there is beauty in the moments in between. I think there's beauty in the moments looking back on all that and having come forward. And I can't explain that properly to everybody. Again, even me trying to convey through these words, through these shorthand, these little phrases, saying that there's beauty in this, only conveys to you a fractional meaning of what it means to me. And there's no way to tell you all of what it means to me. Just that I think it's beautiful. Just like I think it's beautiful, there is a different kind of beauty involved in starting a new relationship with somebody. With thinking about the potential, daydreaming about what could be, getting to know them even more and better. I think that is also beautiful. It's just a different kind of beauty. I think there's beauty in just friendship and being there for somebody. And I think there is so much emphasis that gets put on, again, it's not accidental that all of these lines run concurrent to one another. It's not accidental that there is such a aesthetic fixation in fascism, and that so many of these people also seem drawn to these plainly aesthetic definitions of things like beauty. But it keeps it at that aesthetic surface level. If your definition of something being beautiful, if your definition of something being worthwhile, of someone being kind, what kindness looks like, what good looks like, if it is only one thing, if you are flattening those definitions, if you are not allowing any other interpretations, I feel like you're setting yourself up for disappointment at some level. Naomi Faithless, I wish I had shrooms and a nice vinyl to put on. I don't know about that. I see beauty in silverback gorillas and want to emanate that gentle masculine strength myself. Bruce Magson, I fucking feel that. I mean, not the emanating masculine strength. I super don't feel that. But I do. That's another thing that I see. Like, it's silly, but I see beauty in my dog and cat. Like, sometimes I will just be sitting there. Like I do a lot of, since I've gotten a tablet keyboard, I do a lot of my writing from the couch, because I kind of have this nice, I'll open up in the middle of the day, I'll open up my windows and I kind of have this nice little almost reading nook. And I'll just, like the other day, I was just looking at my dog and she was sitting in the sunlight and her eyes were catching the sun and she has these big brown eyes and she was just sitting, just staring at me. And seeing this creature, you know, through what an evolutionary line dogs have had, to end up with this loving companion who is one of the most empathetic animals I've ever had. If there is somebody having a tough time in my house, my dog wants to be right there. If not to kiss it better, then she will just literally lay nearby. When I was, and her attitude changes based on mine, because she is like, I don't know if she gets it from me. I don't know if it's innate, but it's one of those moments where I sat back and looked at the synchronicity that we had reached as just two organisms. And the idea that here's this creature and I coexisting on the same time, same planet together in the infinitesimal vastness of existence. And despite being two entirely separate beings, we both have different ways of caring for one another. We both have an equilibrium in this environment that we've created together. And I think that's beautiful. And like I think the same thing about like my cat in a more snuggly, more stingy way. But I think again there are moments in between those bigger moments that I do think are beautiful, and I wish more people had that kind of outlook. But even in that, I think it's beautiful that everybody has a different outlook. I think it's beautiful that not everybody has the same outlooks, that people find different things to be beautiful. Humanity is complicated, and I hope more people start understanding that, or at least try and make an effort to, because I think understanding those aspects are key to understanding each other. Yeah. Folk punk commie. Asmongold is a hateful person who rejects intellectual curiosity and spreads that to others like a disease. It's very sad. I think there was a Thought Slime video, and I don't remember who it was about, but Thought Slime said something that has kind of stuck with me about incuriosity and how it is worse to be. Mildred said something about how I don't think this person is stupid, or I don't necessarily believe in smart or stupid. But I think far worse than if somebody could be stupid is them being incurious. And I that put into such few words something I have held in my head for so long, is that like there is a group of people, and it seems to be getting bigger every day, who just do not care to learn. And that's not talking about college learning, that's not talking about book learning. They do not care to expand empathy amongst themselves, amongst others. They do not care to care and understand other experiences. Yeah, Kiwi Teepee, pride in ignorance is a great way to put it. And I think that that is far more dangerous. I think that's far more detrimental to a human experience, to living your life in any kind of productive way, is to not be curious. Like, and you can see, I live by that shit. I am unfortunately, often cases, driven by my curiosity. Like, it is my curiosity that has led me to do the infiltrations, that has led me to do these deep dives. Like, I don't do YouTube videos, and I don't do like the deep investigations and stuff I do because, oh, I know this will get views. Oh, I know this is going to hit. Oh, I know this is going to catch that Mr. Beast type audience. Nah. Like, and you can go look at my fucking view count to see that. It's all over the place. Always has been. I've had to fucking live with that. I've had to come around and accept that I'm going to have videos that I really love that don't do good. That's fine. But I remain driven by curiosity. Those are the things that make me pursue the things I want. And I like to think that the people who support me are driven by that as well. Aww. Sorry, I just got a text from somebody. Alrighty, chat. Alrighty then. It looks like Riverboat Jack just started. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. I actually really like that painting too. I forget what artist it's by. The one that's on his... Okay, there we go. We got Riverboat Jack. We got Actual Jake. We got Maple Takes. God damn, there's a lot of people streaming today. We got Necosaurus, Naughty Roomba, Rin Vixen, Sea Dog, Connor Eats Pants. You know what? Let's go say hi to Connor. Let's go say hi to Connor. Go put in a good word for me, okay? Connor looks like having a good time. And I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Please be sure to give a couple bucks down below. And take care of each other. Be nice to one another.